Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the special 20th episode of Gaming After Dark. I am your host, Mr. Boom Boom Kaboom Noof Nuke, and I'm here with the special, lovely, talented, charismatic, and flamboyant
Primal Eve. I didn't know where you were going with that.
Primal Eve, the female Noof Nukem, as she's been labeled by many. But tonight, I am here with a man that I admire, respect. He is one of the most entertaining podcasters that you will find anywhere. I consider him a friend. He's kind of a mentor to me. He's a man who kind of the proverbial birth to Noof Nukem in a sense. I suppose he gave me my first sort of shot at this podcasting gig and never looked back. And it's amazing and awesome to have him on this show with us tonight. We couldn't wait to get him here. Finally, the schedules have fallen in line. The one, the only, the man who gets loud. Give it up for the amazing, the Mooch.
What's up, Mooch? Buddy? What an outstanding. I mean, honestly, I got to be honest with you. I hope you don't mind. I just recorded that. That's when I retire, I'm just going to play. I'm going to say, nobody in this room knows who this guy is, but he's a Canadian radio specialist, and he gave the best intro of my life. Buddy, that was fantastic. Thank you so much. It's great to be here. It's it's 10 o'clock over here in New York. So I just had to, I had to go ahead and pour myself an adult beverage. Wake up a little bit, get rowdy, buddy. The 4th of July weekend is here. Not that that means a lot to the old noobster, but Primal will be celebrating on the 4th, waving a flag, shooting a couple fireworks off, I'm sure.
Right?
Right?
I'll do one for you. Maybe you can see it all the way up here in fucking North Country, fucking Amish town, fucking northern fucking upstate New York. And it's bullshit because I should have had yesterday off too, kind of, but because I work for the county, yeah, I won't go any further.
Mooch, it sounds like she'd be drinking fucking vials of goat's milk there, Mooch. What do you think?
Oh my god! I keep telling you, you should watch me churn butter. Like I am a pro.
I like where this show's going already.
Butter, that is tonight's topic. Have you ever churned butter? Have you done it with Primal Eve? That's the better question. Before we get into all of the main topics and we find out what these two amazing people have been up to, I do want to give a big shout out to the incredible, the guests and people that come out to watch the show each and every week. We got a lot of people here that show up early. Big shout out to Timothy Dixon and Spiderman 356. Those two guys are usually the first two guys swinging from the ceilings in here. They must be liquored up, let me tell you, because they come early and they're always ready to go. Antonio Lacia is in the house. Great Skull Zero is here as well. We've got Saji Bada, man, who I have not seen forever, but Saji's a cool cat. I know he was just hanging out on RDX there, so shout out to those guys, the podcast. But way to go, Saji Bada. Thanks for stopping by. We hope to keep you entertained. Anime Heaven is back, I think, for a second week in a row. Thanks, Anime Heaven. Greatly appreciated. Who else we got in the house? Draven Nero is here tonight. Draven Nero, how you doing, my friend? We've got Truth X7 is hanging out with us. Steve X78 is here as well. Predator is here, H2. Oh, a man that Mooch is quite familiar with. They do a podcast together on Wednesdays on Xbox Nation, I do believe, right?
Yes, sir. Pred is very opinionated, and he knows what he's talking about. I don't play any first-person shooters without him. He's got to be there.
There you go. So Preds for the HP shooters. We also got BK Bed-Stuy. I think that's it. And AP Cool J. What's going on? Somebody's already given me 2 thumbs down. I wonder if it's got something to do with my Twitter crap the last couple of days. Who knows? But regardless whether the thumbs go up or the thumbs go down, as long as you're here and you ain't putting the thumb on my bum, we're good to go. Let's rock and roll. Boom, boom, kaboom.
Boom, boom, kaboom.
All right. So let's start with the guest. Smooch, man, what the hell have you been up to? What have you been playing? What's keeping you going? And how you feeling, man? Sounds like you've been a bit under the weather.
Well, a little bit, a couple of days, but the show must go on, Noof. That's the motto that we have on MNC and Crossfire as well. It doesn't matter how you're feeling, the show must go on. Feeling a lot better though. We've got the 4th of July highlight, like I've said, and to be honest with you, I'm really back into gaming. I am really 110% back into it. I don't know what's happened in the past month or so, but it's just I'm playing a plethora of different games. I'm having fun. I'm playing everything from the Switch to the PS4 to the Xbox. Each console kind of has its own strength, and we know that. And some people don't like to hear it, but it is what it is. Yes. And and depending on how you're feeling, you want to jam out with friends, definitely playing some Destiny 2 on Xbox. Also playing Bloodstained, outstanding, Ritual of the Night. I recommend that to anybody. If somebody's on the fence about it, go get it, especially if you're getting bitten by the nostalgia bug. And then last but not least, I can't get enough Days Gone. But this is a me problem. Okay, I still to this day I'm still watching and I'm caught up with all the Walking Dead, all the Fear the Walking Dead, and I'll tell you right now, I won't talk you guys into it. Fear the Walking Dead's not doing too well. It's not. But guess what? I'm a zombie lunatic. I love that genre. And I'm digging it. So Days Gone just rings that bell. It really does. It gets me excited. I like to play that game. So yeah, I'm kind of going. I got to be honest with you. There was a period of time, if I even talked to you about this, say, Mooch, you want to play a little bit of Battlefield, this, that, and I was like, you get into like 10 o'clock at night, and I'm like, I'm kind of in that rut. I'm like, nah, I got work early in the morning. Forget about it. But for some reason, I'm just like, I'm up to almost like 12, 1 o'clock again, gaming, having fun, and I'm just enjoying the different genres that are out there. I mean, it's outstanding, and I'm actually curious to hear if Primal or you are also enjoying Bloodstained or any of the kind of smaller titles in the past few months, but are kind of really hitting the market hard, and they're doing really well.
Well, absolutely. Well, I'm glad to hear you've been playing lots of games. Good to see you. Like I said, I know I've seen you on PlayStation 4 playing lots of Days Gone. That is an amazing. I haven't even. Have you even finished it? I haven't got there yet. But
I'm not done with it. I've got to have about 20, 25 hours into it. And I've heard from many people that I know that finished it. They said if you're only doing the main missions, you're at 35. So right. I see another 20 hours into this game easy because I'm a side quest lunatic, right? Yeah. It's like dangling that carrot. I gotta go for it because I'm like, what am I missing
over here? Am I going to get a better gun? Is it going to help me achieve the next level?
Yeah, but no, if it goes a little farther than that, because if you play games like The Witcher, you play games like Days Gone. There's one that's not coming to mind right now, but it'll come to me in a second. There's a few games out there where if you don't play the side quests, at the ending, you just finish the main quest, you kind of go, the game was okay. And somebody goes, why was it okay? It left me a little flat. Well, it left me a little flat because you didn't get into the side characters and what they're actually doing in these camps.
Right.
You know?
You get the whole story. You only get a little bit. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I love the combat. I like the characters. I think the bike is really cool. There's some really cool stuff in that game. There's no doubt about it. And even some of those zombie hordes, the way they attack you and the unpredictable nature and stuff. And I don't know, I'm sure you've seen this, Mooch, but I think it's really cool how 1 minute they're ready to chase you and tear your head off, and like a wolf will come out of the woods and they turn and they start to attack the wolf, and you're just like, thank you. And I think that is something you haven't seen and a lot of other games, like
the way that they portray the horde is outstanding in that game. It really is, and it's riveting. And I don't care who you are or how powerful your character is. You start sweating. You're like, holy shit, I gotta get the hell out of here. But getting back to side quests as a general note, that's something that I've never really brought up, but you got me thinking about it. I got a friend of mine when he eats burgers and fries, he eats all his French fries first. Then he goes for the burger.
I'm the same.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I eat all the fries and then I eat my burger. You gotta
take a bite. Then you dip the fry into the ketchup and you have a bite. You gotta share it.
No, not me. It's always that one thing. I don't like to mix my flavors.
Maybe that's why you're not doing all the side quests. You're always going right for one.
Except for games, though. I'm a little more anal with my food, but yeah. Oh, man. Let's give just kind of in the chat. It's your boy, Matty P. What's happening, Matty? He's asked me how I'm feeling, brother. A lot better than I was about 4 days ago. I thought I was just about ready to die. Distracted by life is in the house. What's happening, brother? Thanks for stopping by, checking out the show. Wilmy Hood is here. Wilmy, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing great. Great Skull Zero is here as well. Astray Gaming, what's up? Jay Slayer J, how you doing, guys? Again, welcome to the show. Let's get over to the other co-host, the amazing Primal Eve. Primal, what's been crawling down your panties the last week?
Besides my hand, absolutely nothing.
This is a different show.
Nothing really. I'm just kind of picking at some little like indie games and stuff like that. There really hasn't been anything that's gotten me yet. I am extremely interested in Bloodstained, so if anybody wants to hook me up with that, by all means.
That was a great Mooch attempt. I'm giving that an A-. That was fantastic.
I try. I'm not very good at it. I don't really do it, but I do want.
Done like a pro.
What she's saying, guys, is she would love Bloodstained the game and not a donation of maxi pads. Okay, thank you.
Yes. But no, just kind of, I don't know, just fucking around, playing some of the shit that they've added to Game Pass. Just, I don't know, I'm still kind of in a semi-gaming funk. I need something. I've been going backwards and playing games that have already been out. Like I love me some Borderlands, but I've been playing Borderlands for years now at this point, and it's the same game.
Yeah.
Even though I'm extremely excited for 3, but I feel like every game that I play now is a game that I've already played before. So
Hey.
I am really interested. I'm interested in Bloodstained, and also A Plague Tale. Innocence is also another one.
That's a great game too.
I
I'm
smell
about
a
halfway
great
through on that.
I smell a great Borderlands team in the making right here.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Listen, you can
I
count
could see
me in on
that.
any system, anywhere it is. I don't care. I have it on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. I got to be honest with you, Borderlands 3, the only thing that's kind of spoiling it for me is that they have Gears 5 and Borderlands 3 in between 4 days. Here we are sitting here for 3.5 months. You even heard Primal say she's in a bit of a funk, saying, I'm looking for a game to play. Why don't we cram everything into September, October? Let's do it again, folks. We've only been doing it for 25 years.
And I do have a massive backlog, and this is the time for me to like clear it out. But I'm just like,
Absolutely. But you don't feel it sometimes, right?
I know,
I
and
know.
it's weird, and it's
All right,
stuff
so
that I
have a
wanted
theory,
to play
Primal.
before.
Primal, I have a
I
theory, and I
just-
want to hear your opinion on it. So the reason I think backlogs continue to grow for some of us, right? I have games as well, is that here we are in the era of social media, right? And when you're in this era right now, it's what have you done for me lately? And what I mean by that is, right, shooting pictures out of the game you're playing, people asking you,
Right.
what do you think? How you doing? All of a sudden, you strike up a game like, let's just say, Metro Exodus right now, which is probably my next go-to, my backlog. If I'm like, holy shit, this game's beautiful. I've never seen anything like it. You know, people are going to tweet back, seen that, done that, Mooch. We're on to another game. You know,
Oh, I
so
know.
almost,
It's fucking old.
You feel like you're in reruns already. You know?
No, it's absolutely true. The lifespan of a video game nowadays is like 2 months maybe, and then it's done and over with, and then everything
That's a
goes
bit much.
spoiled.
Yeah.
2 months. Jeez, most people they blink now they're on to something else. I can never find someone to play the same game with by the time I pick it up and I'm like halfway through it. I'm done, man. Got the Chivos. I'm
I
moving
know,
on.
isn't it fucking nuts? It's and you know what? I think it's because I keep saying this, but we are so fucking spoiled. But back in the day, we had 3 games, and those
So
were
true.
the games, and
So true.
we played them. You know, we had no option. Now it's like, all right, I have 100 games just kind of hanging out. You know, I really want to play them, but I'm not going to. So it's just we have so many options at this point, and it's not that these games aren't bad. It's just our brains can't process which one that we're gonna play.
Well, they're so demanding. It's like games aren't like from the 80s and 90s. I mean, we used to play those 2D side scrollers and literally we'd play them all day, but I mean, you could literally beat them in what couple hours generally.
And then
now these games you got now, you're a couple hours trying to get out of the tutorial, let alone the whole game. You're like like Mooch just said, Days Gone, it's such a massive game. Like I don't know, to me honestly, I think I enjoy that game more if it was maybe a bit more focused as opposed to just here's this big ass open world with 5 million freaking things to do and you're driving over here and you're driving over there.
But that's why games like Uncharted and Gears of War hold a special place for me. It can go ahead and be elongated and be it could be 30 hours. It could be 25 hours. But let's be honest, it's got a linearity to it and it branches off here and there, but it's simple. It's simple stuff. You know, some of the side quests get complicated in certain games. I mean, people are telling me, Mooch, and I have Assassin's Creed Odyssey and it's on my list for this summer. I really do. The 3 games I wanted to attack after Days Gone is I wanted to attack Metro, Devil May Cry 5, and Assassin's Creed Odyssey, right? And the thing about it is Assassin's Creed Odyssey, it's 100 hours. I mean, you have to actually take a week off from work to just scratch the surface.
Right?
No
I know. That's why I'm so fucking afraid. I want to do my death march for Witcher 3, but I know what's gonna happen. Like it's gonna be my life. Like that's it. There won't be friends, family, pissing, shitting, showering,
eating's out.
Nothing. It's Witcher, and that's it.
I bet you that TV show poster got you hot and bothered today, didn't it?
Oh.
We're going to talk about that a little bit later. Let's catch up the chat again. Distracted by Life, he says, I never finished a Rayman game. You know what? Distracted by Life, that's quite okay because apparently the artist at Ubisoft never finished drawing the rest of Rayman. He's missing body parts somewhere along the line. His feet and his hands are not joined to anything. So I always wondered about that one. Middle-aged game guy, what is happening, brother? Who is yelling? Yes, indeed. You already noticed the volume level of this podcast has gone up considerably tonight. It is great. Who else we got in here? We had a few more people join here. Z Black Rider is in the house. What's going on, Z? Atrocity Nights, thanks for showing up and checking out the podcast. Great, appreciate it. SB Nameless, what's happening, bro? Yeah, so... But anyway, let's kind of dive into some of the topics here as we're about 16 minutes into the podcast. Yeah, BZ, all these open world games are where there's a lot of them now. Now, I mean, to some degree, I can understand why we do have a few more or why they go that route, because especially in a game, you take a game like Days Gone, right? It has no multiplayer. So it kind of has to thrive. That's the thing to keep their players invested in the world longer, is to make it bigger and to keep the expectations in check. Because you go the other way, you're too long. I guess being too long is always better than being people going, well, that's way too short and I'm tired of it already and I'm bored and I never want to play it again, right? So, right. I mean, Days Gone, you can play it for an hour and get a few things done and still come back to it 2 weeks later, play it another couple hours and you're good. You know what I mean? Like, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm quite enjoying that game. But anyway, let's talk about some of the topics. We'll start with the one that I've kind of headlined. This has been it's kind of been all over the place this week. A lot of podcasts, a lot of people talking about it. And I don't want to make too much of the deal with it, but it does kind of drive an interesting question. I'm sure Mooch has touched on this quite a bit. We'll get Primal's take on it here first, though. Just like Sony, are they, at this point in time, are they really more in touch with their core audience than Microsoft? We know that both companies are pushing forward strong. They both seem to be going similar directions, but going about it quite differently. Nintendo's another story altogether. We won't even get into those guys right now at this point. But like Sony came up with a bit of an article. I guess they talked to various people and they kind of reconfirmed that they are committed to their hardcore audience, the people that have made them big and great, and they're going after the big publishers. And you know what that also means? It usually means they start throwing out the big money for exclusive content deals, maybe even exclusive games. We already know they're killing it in Japan. They have way more JRPGs on their platform than we have for the Xbox. It's gotten better on Xbox, but still a long way to go. So Primal, do you think right now they're just more touch, or do you think it's just Microsoft is just like, what do you think the correlation is between the two, and is anyone more right than wrong, and are you cool with their messaging?
I don't really see anybody more right than wrong, but Sony's doing what Sony knows best, and that's their single player games. I can't deny the fact that Sony has the best single player games, and they're going to focus on that, and they're going to stick to that formula like they have since fucking back in the 90s. Like, it's worked for them then, it's working for them now. Microsoft right now is trying to do it all. They want it all. They're being kind of greedy, but I don't mind because I have more options on the Xbox. You know I love JRPGs, so it's really exciting to finally see some of them pop up. I just saw another one today when I was going through it called Code Vein, and that'll be coming out towards the end of the year. Which is exciting for me, but Microsoft can't focus on one thing if they're trying to do it all. Right. So that's why I think it's harder for them to be like, right there for what the fans are for, because they're trying to make everybody their fan.
Too many eggs in the basket kind of thing situation?
Kinda, yeah. I don't care. I'm all about the games, whatever.
Right. Well, no, it is all about the games.
As she should
be. It is all about the games, and no matter which console you choose to go with, or if you own them all, we got plenty of games, and I don't think that's going to be a situation for either.
Oh no, that's never. Either one. It's all like it's so many. You can play whatever the fuck you want to play. You can go golfing, you can go farming, you can go shoot your best friend. You can fucking not like really, okay, right. Guys. You could, but like when you're on Sony, you know what you're going for.
Sure. Yeah.
It isn't a multiplayer game, and I'm sorry if you buy a PlayStation for a multiplayer game, you're sorely mistaken. Like that is not a multiplayer console.
But it is fair to say that Sony does need some more co-op and multiplayer games coming out of their first-person portfolio, which is something they've also neglected, which people can't understand. I've always said Uncharted, especially when you gotten into 4 games and then an expansion game, and neither one of the games has co-op, even though clearly most of the games always have you with a buddy, and they can't figure out how to do co-op even. Like, that's just a bit
but even then their party system is absolutely god awful. Like I don't want to co-op with somebody when it takes me 30 minutes to enter the party and hope I stay in there. So if I have the option of doing a co-op game on the PlayStation or the Xbox, I'm going to go with the Xbox without even thinking twice about it.
Absolutely.
Well, Mooch knows all too well. You can't sell a steak without the sizzle, right, Mooch? So
It's so
what's
true,
your
buddy.
take on that? And just before you weigh in, I will give a props out to our good buddy, the Crap Gamer, who kind of, a lot of times he hits a nerve with me because he basically sounds like he is me sometimes. And one thing I've heard Crap say in the last few weeks is, we went from Xbox as a platform, especially as a console owner. Xbox was like the de facto property of the brand. It was what stood for Xbox. When you thought Xbox, you did think about that behemoth old Xbox console or the 360, right. And you thought about their old marketing campaigns, and you thought about their old messaging and how they went about it. And now it feels like the Xbox, at least the console part of their business, feels like it's like so minuscule. It's like right down on the ladder. As he's kind of said, you almost feel like a second-class citizen. Now, It shouldn't be that important. But again, when you've invested as much time, as much energy as any of us on this panel or a lot of people in the chat have into that brand, and it feels like they're ignoring everything. I mean, they have to listen to some of these podcasts. Do they not know what we're saying? Do they not understand what we're trying to ask of them? People say we expect too much, or maybe we don't expect enough. I don't know, but either which way, yes, I do feel like that. I feel like we've sort of been ignored because they're so focused on other aspects, and they're so focused on the fans they don't have that they're forgetting about the ones that they have. But anyway, Mooch, you weigh on that, man. Give us some sizzle to that steak analogy. I know you like the food analogies.
I'm definitely, absolutely. I might throw it in there. I'll tell you really simply put is it's the tale of two stories here. You have Microsoft that they want to do everything. You said this just now very appropriately, actually. My food analogy that I gave on MNC show, I'll say it again. Microsoft is the diner. Okay, they're a diner. You sit down at a diner, they give you this huge menu. There's almost too much in it. And if you want eggs at 11:30 at night, you got it. You want a steak at 9 a.m., you got it. Microsoft kind of has you covered over a plethora of different things. But you'll notice that even if you love your local diner, you'll always get one person to admit, well, they got really one or two good things on the menu. Everything else is okay. Is it bad? No. Is it okay? Yeah, it's okay. And that's the thing, right? Microsoft is a diner right now. They're almost like our arcade, where you can stop by, play. Think about even your local arcade, and I'm dating myself a bit here, but I don't care. A lot of people understand this. If you actually have an arcade or you remember that experience, there was 2 or 3 games that were riveting in the arcade, and the rest just kind of ate up your quarters. You know what I mean? You were like, all right, and that's kind of what Microsoft's providing. Sony's kind of dialing in and saying, listen, we did tremendous this generation. The PS4 absolutely kicked ass and took names. So what they're saying is, wait a minute, think about being at the round table with the Sony executives. Why don't we do this? Why don't we do what we did this generation, but step it up a notch? Well, what do you mean by that? I mean, more money into the AAA games. Maybe buy or do another third-party exclusive deal like we did with From Software with Borderlands that was a massive hit. Maybe do something exclusive. Maybe grab Remedy or do something like that, okay, and grab them and get a contract like Microsoft did early this generation when we were under Donnie D and Peter Moore and other greats that were leads of Xbox had done this in the past. These are things that worked. So Sony said, wait a minute, at this point in time, we can't give you what Microsoft, they're not going to be able to do the cloud. They're going to work with Microsoft. They're going to get the Azure service. I understand all that. They're going to be doing this streaming stuff too. But think about it. If they were uber successful, 100 million consoles sold, and they just doubled down on what they did, we're not, yes, technology is moving at the speed of light. I get it. And I love it. I really do. I love it. But at the same time, you can't blame them for wanting to take the traditional approach and then offer the streaming and offer the cloud and offer all this other stuff, the mobile on the go stuff. That's all extra. They know as sure as shit they can count on the PS5 selling another 100 consoles. You might go, Mooch, where are you coming up with that? Right. This was probably the worst generation to lose. I've said this a number of times, and I have to reiterate it because I think the more I say it, the more people actually take it back, ponder on it, and think about it for a minute. Because realistically, this is the generation that we get to take our games with us. We get to take our controllers with us, our peripherals with us. Okay? This is not a drop-dead date where when this generation ends, you stop, you clean slate, and start over. That's not true. So there's people who own PS4s right now that have hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars invested into that ecosystem. Indeed. Now, let's just say Scarlett is a itsy bitsy bit stronger. It's not going to be that much stronger. It'll be stronger, but it'll be itsy bitsy bit stronger. If it is, are you going to be able to tell somebody that has 250 games on their PS4 this generation to not buy a PS5 and come over for an extra T-flop? Like, it's not going to happen, right? You're not going to ditch $1,500, $1,000, $800, whatever you have invested. It doesn't matter. Everybody's dollar, Noof, it means a lot to them, and they're being able to carry that along. It was the worst generation to lose. That's my personal opinion. But to get back to your initial statement, is Sony's going after the hardcore gamer. They go ahead and say that, but they didn't have to come out and say that. Anybody in the chat, anybody that's been gaming this entire generation, they know that's the truth. That's the truth. They've been going after that customer since day one.
It's like they know that the one burger they're selling is the one that makes them all the money, so they're not focused on the value meal for everybody, just to try to make up ground. You know what I mean?
Well, Noof, you've got Sony coming out and saying we want the hardcore gamer. That's the people that bought, like, a lot of the people that bought that 100 million sales figure, and you got Microsoft coming out saying we want the 2 billion gamers. Well, that's the casual market, you know, and the casual market. Don't get me wrong, Microsoft will be successful. I'm not saying that they're not going to be successful. But what their plan of attack is not ignore, but kind of just let's take the hardcore guys maybe a bit. You know, we know they're going to be there. We know that people love Halo and Gears. We know they're going to come here for that. And then let's reach everybody out there playing on their phones or enjoying the Switch. And let's see if we can get those customers. Where Sony's saying, listen, if you love our dedicated service in gaming, you're going to love what we provide for you mobily later. You know what I mean? So it's just Microsoft's going after that 2 billion when if you focus, it's kind of like when you work really hard at your job. You don't walk into your boss's office and be like, I worked really hard this week. I need a raise. If you worked really hard this week and next week and the week after, you'll get that raise. So my point being is those people, those 2 billion, they'll come to where the quality is. So focus on the quality instead of preaching what you should be looking forward to in the future. You know, it's like I said, it's like walking in demanding that your boss give you a raise versus working hard, earning it, and you will get that raise.
You bet. Let's get you back up with the chat here real quick. Hyperlight Drifter, how's it going? Fastback is in the house. Thanks for coming out, guys. We got Monkey Punch Lugo is here. Salty is gaming. What's happening, brother Salt?
What's up, Salt?
He is here as well. Ashtray Gaming is hanging out with us. We've also got Dreadpool is here. Who else we got in the chat here right now? Jago Kukin, Rockstar 5. What's going on, guys? Jago, how's it going, brother? I just want to address something like Ashtray said here. I mean, because he has a great point. Like, unfortunately, focusing on the hardcore is only focused on 10% of the total market. It doesn't make sense. I kind of get what he's saying, but here's the deal, though. That, say 10% of your market is your hardcore. Hardcore is people that I consider to be like Mooch and Crap and myself and Primal or almost anybody that's in this chat right now that's watching these podcasts. Casuals don't come out to watch us preach about this shit. They're off doing Fortnite and they're doing whatever they could give a shit, right? And sure, that is the larger portion of the market because there is more people that make up that portion. But you can't forget about the people that live and die by your brand, that promote your brand, and the people that buy the most software. I mean, these are people I'm talking to right now. A lot of you guys in the chat have probably no less than 300 or 400 games in your collection. You tell me how many casuals out there got even 30 games in their collection. You won't find too many. They got 4 or 5. They play the same shit every day. These people, the thing is, they make their money at casuals because of the numbers. 50 million people spending $1 is still $50 million, but we might be like 100,000 people, but we're spending $150 a piece. And you do the math, right? We're still spending more money per person. It's just, it doesn't happen because we don't have the numbers, but you can't ignore the people that buy your product on day one, the people that line up at your store at midnight launch, because these are the people that push and promote your brand to its maximum. These are the people that go out and buy their 4th Xbox 360 after it's red ring to death. Casuals would not. Casuals would be one and done and gone, baby. That's it. This is what I'm saying. People have to understand there's a vast difference between somebody that lives and breathes this industry than the person that just, mom, give me your credit card. I want to buy some skins for a fucking character, okay? You know, that and that kind of shit. Because that to me is casual, right? This phone crap market, and they're going after it because there's too much untapped potential. And we get that. But again, don't forget your hardcore audience, and all sometimes an Xbox person needs to hear is just a little reinforcement. Whether you're Sony or Xbox or Nintendo, look at Nintendo's E3. You know why they kept people happy? They catered to the people that they know got them where they are. The fans of the Mario games, the Luigis, the Zeldas, and even look Mooch, and you could probably agree with me. What did they do? They teased Breath of the Wild 2. That game is fucking probably how far before we even see that game. But you know what? They at least teased it, right?
That's what
they
it's
kept
all
people
about.
going. Holy shit! I might not get rid of my Switch next year.
Noob, look at it this way, okay? We all go to the movies. There's people in the movies tonight. Shout out to Luca who's in the chat, and Luca's going to see what is it there? Not Homecoming, but Too Far From Home or something. The new Spider-Man movie coming out. It's out today, actually. I think and she's going tomorrow. And you know, when you go to the movies, what do they show you? Yeah. They'll show you anything from a 30-second, if it's a real hot thing that they don't want to reveal too much to a 3-4 minute clip of movies to come. And when Microsoft's on stage at E3 this year, don't get me wrong, I thought it was an okay show. I enjoyed watching it. I had a lot of fun. But at the same time, you want to give people that fresh breath of air that this new box is on the rise, and these are the games you're gonna get. And I remember when we only had like Nintendo Power, okay, and the SNES, right? And the SNES was coming out, right? And you see the pictures of the new Mario and the new Metroid. You're like, holy shit! Yes, it amped you. You got amped. You were like, that's when you say, please take my money. But the thing is here I am. I have an X. A lot of people in the chat have an X. I believe you two do as well. And you have an Xbox One X, and you're sitting there and you're like, okay, absolutely. Red Dead Redemption 2 was marvelous. It was fantastic. It was a thing of beauty. Okay, you've got other games that are coming out and giving you a little extra oomph, like Bloodstained is giving you 4K, where the competition is giving you 1080p. Absolutely. And then you have Gears that's going to come out there and really give an uppercut this September and give you 4K 60. However, after that, you say, okay, wait a minute. At this point, you know, what you got to do is you got to say, I got 3, 4, 5. Maybe you guys can name 10. Maybe you guys can name 6 games that your ex really shined with. And you're saying, you know what? Now I'm going to go out next year and buy another $500 or $600 box. Absolutely. You know, and I don't know, myself personally, I can't wait to buy hardware. I like new hardware. It's exciting. It's always been exciting. It never gets boring. It doesn't. But what's great is when you took that SNES home and you played Super Mario World, you were like, holy shit. And I think we're going to have that holy shit moment with Halo Infinite. But you need more than that. Tell me what's coming down the line. I'm not even a Fable fan. I'm not a Fable fan. But you could have just done like a smoke cloud thing, Fable, and then have somebody come out and talk
or
to
even
us.
just say Fable.
Done. I'd primarily say Fable like that. People are throwing $60 all over the place. Come on.
There you go.
Let's do this.
Let's give another shout out to the chat, man. What's happening? T Gameplays, how you doing, brother? Thanks for stopping in. SB Nameless, Midway Monster is here. Z Black Rider, Mr. INU 1 2 3.
Tonight. This is
Absolutely,
a great chat.
I do believe I saw Princess Ash and Luca in the house. What's going on, Luca? Good to see you here. Heard you earlier on RDX. Good show there. Shout out to Luca and everybody. Dreadpool, what's going on? Yeah, man. You know, everybody has different definitions of hardcore gamer. Some people are talking about it in the chat. And I guess at the end of the day, it really is left up to you what you feel a hardcore gamer is, because there is various, I guess, definitions of it. I have mine. Everybody's going to differ a little bit. But, you know, but somebody that just, you know, well, would you call somebody a race car driver if they took the car out like once every, 5 years and went 100 kilometers down some track and you would call a race car driver somebody that lives and breathes the sport, can go super fast. Anyway, I'm getting off topic, but you know what I'm saying. But let's move on. Man, we're hitting 56 watching tonight, guys. I know that has changed to most people in this podcast world, but
great number.
That's our new high. That's our new high tonight. So thank you guys for coming out and being part of this fantastic chat. And I was just going to end up by saying, you know what? The best thing that happened to the end of this gen was bringing out the Xbox One X. I've been loving it. Love that console. Mooch, you probably feel the same way. But you know what? The worst thing that also happened was the Xbox One X, because because it kind of dampened my anticipation for the next console, because I'm not sure how much better the next ones will ultimately be. And I do want to see that real kick in the ass performance that I go, now that's worth spending another $600 on, because if it's kind of comes out and there's very parable differences between them, I might be like, just hang on to the X a bit longer and see how things go, right? So
it's true. I think a lot of people feel like that. I mean, listen, there's a lot of people that I've had great conversations on Twitter with hardcore Xbox folks, okay? And they've all said right now, until I see a little bit more at next E3 will be a very telling story for all of us. But a lot of people have said to me, listen, I'm in the market to buy a console next year. I have an X. The X is doing 4K 30. This fall on Gears 5, it's going to be doing 4K 60. If I've got a 4K 60 machine right now, and Microsoft has already semi-promised that we're going to be able to play Halo, Forza, and possibly some of the other new acquired studios games in the next 12 months after Scarlet's launched, a lot of people are saying, well, I'll go buy a PS5 and I'll keep my X. And they go, Mooch, what do you think about that? And I said, well, listen, at this point in time, I couldn't tell you otherwise, because realistically speaking, if you've got a box in your house right now, it's doing 4K 60. Okay. I mean, am I really so? I love this. I love the sell, but let's be honest. I mean, how can I sell you on another box for $600 that does 4K 60?
Absolutely.
You know? I mean, it's it's like if you said, I really want to move from my house. I take you across the street and we're in a place that sells condominiums. It looks like the house you just left.
They're going to need a really good side by side.
I can't sell you a mirror. So, I mean, my point being is that I think they have to do a hell of a job selling the software next E3. And I think they're prepared to do that. I really do. I think they're listening. I definitely think they're hearing what people are saying.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into the next topic of the night, and I'll get Primal to start on this one as well, because she kind of brought it up earlier. She was kind of doing her own mooching for a game called Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night. I think that is what it's called. It's out right now. It's causing a bit of a stir. It's a Castlevania-esque style of game, if you're not familiar with it. And apparently it's selling pretty good, but here's the kicker. It's selling the best right now, apparently, on the Nintendo Switch. I mean, despite the Nintendo Switch having a smaller user base,
well, they're also having
sold PS4 and the Xbox versions, Mooch. So that's interesting. So Primal, I know you want this game. Tell me why you want it, why you like this thing. Mooch, I think, has a game and has been playing it. But let's find out from you, Primal. Why do you want this game? Why do you think of it selling more on the Switch? Is that just a testament that the market is stronger for these sort of lesser games, or what?
Well, first of all, I want it because it's an absolutely beautiful game. Like, have you guys seen this? Well, you both already played it. Probably. Actually, have you, Noof? You haven't? Oh, well, Mooch, you know what I'm saying. It's a beautiful game. And it's just the stylized, even the fighting. I know it's like very Castlevania-esque, which I am somewhat a fan of, but for some reason this game really, really is attractive to me because it reminds me of Odin Sphere that came out. It's in the same style of Odin Sphere and Grim Grimoire that came out on the PlayStation 2 100 years ago. I think it's doing really well on the Switch because it's that style and that kind of gameplay.
Absolutely.
For those fans that are on the Switch, like it's a lot more approachable for them. I think second would be Sony and third would be Microsoft, if anything. But it definitely fits and suits everything else that's on the Switch. So that's why this is no surprise to me whatsoever.
So Sajibot says the game is great and people should try it. Yes, plus it's also available digitally.
Also, if
available on
anybody
cartridge.
wants to gift it to me, my gamer tag is Primal Eve, 2 words, on the Xbox. My inbox is always open. If you guys want to slip into my DMs, just letting you know. I'm very interested. Not for dick pics. I'm talking about the game. Just have
first podcast that ever had to be clarified.
She knows. She knows most of the community are dicks anyway, so she don't need the physical version. Okay, so there you go. Let's give a shout out. Eternal Shaddai, what's happening, my brother? We've got who else came in here? Shizno Elite, how you doing? Good to see you here. Salty's game is in the house. Yes, Salty's got a birthday coming up in just a couple of days. So, in I'll wish him in advance happy birthday, Salty, to you, my friend. He would like that game if anybody wants to, game gift it to him. He's doing his little his mooching himself. So shout out to Salty. I will be with him. I do believe tomorrow night he's going to move the our weekly podcasts, the Salty's Gaming Podcast, up to Wednesday because he's got a lot of stuff happening on his plate on Thursday. So keep that in mind. J-Force Games, what's happening, bro? Thanks for coming in. Draven Arrow, Midway Monster. And let's over to you, Mr. Mooch. You have this game. I do believe you played it. What do you think of it? And what do you think of the Switch version? Great!
Absolutely great. No, here's the thing. So Primal made a great point. There are times that when you play a certain game, there is a factor that kind of drives you to one console or the other. I mean, some people will say Metal Gear drives you to PlayStation. Castlevania game, for every time other than this, would have driven me to the Switch. But I did some reading on it, and the Switch version had issues out the gate. I think they're in the process of working that. I think it's getting better, but also there is a beauty to what this game looks like on the Xbox One. Mm-hmm. It truly, it's here's the thing, and let's talk about why this game is so special. This game is
2D, 3D, right? Like it's two. From what I've seen, it's 2D, but it has those like 3D sort of moving backgrounds and stuff like that.
It does. It has that the backgrounds kind of. It's more of a 2D. I mean, I see where you're saying the 3D thing. It has that illusion when you do make some long walks and corridors and such. It does a twisty turn, so it gives that impression that it gives that 3D illusion that pops out, almost like you're going to a really bad 3D movie, but that's not the point, right? So, I mean, it does what it's supposed to do, but
it's fucking hand drawn. Like
it is.
Come
on,
like
gorgeous.
You don't get that special like effect in everything. It's sorry. Go on, carry on.
Yeah, I mean, what's the difficulty like, Mooch?
What the difficulty of it?
Yeah, I heard you telling that to Crap.
I don't listen. Well, it's not Crap's bag. Okay. That's for damn sure. It's not. But I mean, at the same time, I think the difficulty on it's just right. They don't when you start the game off, you don't get to pick hardcore or nightmare, I believe, or hard or nightmare. Right. That's grayed out. You have to beat it on normal first. And the normal difficulty is it's enough for anybody that wants a decent challenge. I'm looking forward to playing through it twice because I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't mind a little bit harder. But here's the thing. The game, the reason it's a success, in my personal opinion, is it's a beautiful marriage of nostalgia and 2019. It's got the crafting in it. It's got the RPG mechanics. It's got just the touch and feel that is very, very good. And for a company so small like they are, to have that on a 2D scroller in today's world is very difficult. The nostalgia factor comes into it because you could ask me a million times, and for a million answers, I'll give you that Castlevania is in my. It's probably my number one. I want to say one or two. I've played so much of the early Castlevanias on Nintendo, which is why I don't blame Primal for saying it feels at home on the Switch. I just feel like the Switch version in this particular case, I think you'd be doing yourself an injustice when there's just so much like the shine, the artwork, the glitz, the glamour on top of that crafting, that RPG, and that nostalgia you get bundled in on the Xbox version. I just, for that title, I'd hate to see you miss that if you have an X in your house. So, but the reason people should enjoy it is if you're old-time gamer like myself, it brings you down memory lane. If you're a new gamer, I don't care if you're a year into gaming or it's your 10th year or your 5th year. It's a way to connect with some people that have been talking about it when you're like, I'm in this community and I'm sorry, okay? I didn't play Bionic Commando. I didn't play Ghosts and Goblins. That wasn't my bag back then. It's not my bag now, right? It's your way to kind of connect with the community and say, you know what? I didn't play those games, but I did play Bloodstained. And you know what? I kind of pick up what you're putting down. I get what you're saying. So it's a really great value to it. It's $39.99. And if you don't want it, listen, I got news for you. In about 4 weeks, 5 weeks, that thing's going to be $30. Probably about 6 weeks after that, you may even find it for $19.99. It's a buy,
and
right?
It'll be on sale for $9.99.
It's a buy
for Game Pass.
It's right. It's never too late to jump into it and give it a shot. I recommend it. I highly recommend it for everybody from new gamers to those that got bit with the nostalgia bug.
And you know what? Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
That's fine. I will. It's very rare to find a game that all of us can agree upon, and so I feel like that this is one of the few games I haven't really seen anybody talk shit about it yet. It's been nothing but like, or actually,
how do you?
Anything.
Yeah,
I know. So that's another reason. I don't know. It excites me that this very rare, silver lining of our really shitty gaming community that's going on right now, that we can actually, agree on something and be happy together just for this one moment until another game comes out or we hear about something else.
That's a great point.
Or,
it's joining a lot of people together that gaming. You know what? Shout out to AP Cool J. He didn't mean it this way, but he just mentioned a word that I left completely out. The one thing that this game has is the music. Honestly, the music in this game is exquisite. And it's not as glamorous as certain things where it has a symphony orchestra playing. But the point of the matter is that it's got that like old school beat that we all love, but you can tell that they definitely twisted and turned it into something that's so modern.
Yeah.
That's when you're an artist, when you can actually create something that people have a hard time putting into words, and whether it be music or on a canvas, however you can do that, that's when you're a true artist. It doesn't matter if it's digital or it's with paint and a brush. And these folks here were able to do that and grab that nostalgia factor again. If you pop in your SNES or your NES, you have the old Castlevania 1, 2, 3, Super Castlevania, any of those, and play that and listen to the simplicity of that music that will definitely, right? Yeah. And then you listen to what they did here. It's insane. It's an amazing thing that they accomplished.
It really is crazy, and I feel like almost any game from that era, the music was so fucking different. I used to download the MIDI files online on my AOL trial so I could listen to the music back in the day. And it's funny because I was listening to some of the old school music, and my daughter was like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "This was real video game music back in the day before you were born." And she was actually thoroughly impressed. She's like, "That's a really good beat." And it's odd because now I feel almost that some of these games are reusing a lot of the same music, or it just sounds like shit sometimes, and it almost ruins the atmosphere and the environment of the game. It takes so much to have the entire package, and music is definitely a big deal.
It's a huge deal.
Well, the one thing, that struck me when I watch videos on it and people play it so far is that not only is it gorgeous, especially for the style of game that it is, but you can tell that the developers obviously had a passion for that style of game. They paid a lot of attention to details. You know what I mean? It's like a spiritual successor, but it's not of Castlevania name, but it feels like it could have literally been a sequel. You know what I mean? And I like what I like about this, a lot of those type of games is that they build on what works for the 2D games of the old, but look, let's call a spade a spade. If you go back now and you play a lot of the 8-bit and 16-bit games, they haven't aged really well. If there's one reason a lot of old,
it hurts.
There's one reason a lot of those games aren't so good today, and it's not because the graphics necessarily age; it's the gameplay. Because if you look at a lot of those games back then, timing was just constantly everything, and a lot of those games did not have super fluid or responsive controls. It might have had to do with a lot of times characters having 3 frames of animation,
right?
You know what I mean? I went back and I played some of these old games now, and I can't believe how hard they are to play. And it's like, man, I breezed through them as a kid, but I guess I was more tolerant back then because that's all you knew. But now
that's a great topic,
games,
it's completely true. You are
look at Cuphead, which is going to be one of our next topics. Cuphead, right?
Oh God.
That game is so fluid. It's hard as fuck, but you know what? You can never really blame the gameplay for screwing up because that game takes timing too, but it's responsive as hell. That's what I love. But you look at old 2D games and you play them. I remember playing the original Ghosts and Goblins on the NES, and the way fucking the dude jumped and he moved, it was so clunky. You had to have
everything is 90-degree angles.
Yes, it's weird. Those old controls.
We had some serious skill back in the day. Where'd it go?
Play the original 1996 version of Tomb Raider and tell me you have enough.
We got spoiled.
But it's like Primal said, we're spoiled right now. We're spoiled rotten. We have so many games. I'll never forget when Ghosts and Goblins entered the house. That was the game I played for months. That doesn't mean 2. It means many, 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 many months. I played it over and over again till I knew everything. We used to know so much about the games. We would know on Castlevania 2. I would even know where the glitches kind of were, where you're like, oh, is that a trap? My friend, is that a trap? I'm like, it's not a trap. It's actually just some kind of a glitch because you're not supposed to fall there, but you just do. So don't land there, right?
Absolutely.
Right. And I mean, but that's the thing is when you get into kind of difficulty. That's why people go, Mooch, why are you into Dark Souls? Dark Souls is one of the only games. Yes, Cuphead definitely falls in that category too. And there's a couple others. But Dark Souls is one of the only games. It doesn't provide the difficulty that Ghosts and Goblins gave us or some of those older games like that. But what it does give you is the only sense of like the game doesn't just save and carry you. Save and when have you? How many times have you died in a game? Right, and you're like, I hope the game saved.
Yeah.
Right. I hope the game saved when I picked up that wrench. Why would a game save when you pick up a wrench? But it did. It did. Anytime you do anything different, if you get up to go to the bathroom, it saves. It always does. Every time you do anything, right? The game continues to auto save. Get in the car, it saves. You get out of the car, it saves. You walk in the door, it saves. You sit down, it saves. It's always saving. So you're never losing, right? You're always natural progression. It's like the never get left behind in school rule. It's like you always keep going forward. You know, when he get on his test, a 35 out of what? 100? Move him along. Keep him going. You know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't really matter. We just keep going. We keep going. I think that like that's the one thing with Dark Souls is it doesn't keep going. It's like, oh, you didn't do this? Go back and do it again.
Right.
You know, and that's why people find it a deterrent.
See, I like Ninja Gaiden. You know, a Ninja Gaiden to me is hard, but it kicks the ass of those other games because there's no stamina meters, there's no crazy ass weapons. There's, you know, to me, like Ninja Gaiden was just fluid, perfect action, and it was just all about your timing, being able to counter, knowing the moves, and being able to find weapons that suited each type of enemy. Right? It was just a different type of hardness, but one that I would take any day of the week over Bloodborne and Dark Souls. You know what I mean? Still both hard, but that one I could somehow tolerate. But the other ones, not so much.
Like you said with the saving though, like that shit has ruined me for life. I cannot play a game without having 5 or 6 fucking save files and me constantly saving manually like every 3 steps because I have flashbacks and horrible PTSD of days when I would forget to save and there would go fucking 6 hours of gameplay and I would have to go back and redo it over and over and over again.
I know, eh? Jesus.
God forbid the power went out. You know,
oh my God!
It wasn't like the internet going out. It was like
I know, eh?
Fucking power, or if we all had dial up, like I pray to God that fucking nobody calls the house. Please don't call the house. You know.
You remember? I believe it was Legend of Zelda, guys, and correct me if I'm wrong. Right, with the first like ability to save on the cartridge. And that was a big deal, right? It was they had a built-in card and battery. I don't know what. My God, that battery lasted what? 3 decades?
It was insane.
Jeez, Nintendo, get a hold of iPhone and Android folks because we can use that battery in our phone. Gosh,
no, Nintendo, for some reason, their hardware is like the sturdiest of the sturdiest.
Absolutely.
I remember back in the day, there was like GameCube challenge or system challenge where this guy would drop the systems like a 30-foot or not.
You know the original NES was just a refurbished toaster. You know that, right?
Oh my God. Seriously, the GameCube was a fucking beast. You know, you didn't hear about people returning their GameCube, but you would hear about people in their fucking blue laser dying in the PlayStation because it would stop reading the black bottom discs, and then you had Xboxes just being Xboxes, you know. But the GameCube, they were fucking sturdy motherfuckers.
They really were. That's a great point. It's funny when you actually take a minute to go down memory lane, you start thinking about that kind of stuff. Shout out to was it Ashtray Gaming? She says, or he said, basically we had to keep our consoles on and switched on 24/7 because we didn't want to lose the save game.
Oh my God!
Right. I remember that. I remember being like, I go up to my parents and I was like, listen, don't touch this box tonight.
I know.
And my dad was like, but you left it on. I know.
You are right. I know people have done that.
And I got 3 lives left. Please leave it alone.
That goes right back to this new generation of gamers and stuff. They don't realize how lucky and they don't appreciate all the effort and all the hard work that's put into not even the best games. Like the worst games today would probably be like fucking the best game in the world back in the day. You know, and they have no idea how lucky they are right now.
Holy shit, look who's in the chat. We got the one, the only Space Cat. What's up?
Space Cat back. Space Cat, we need a voice. We need a voicemail. We miss Space Cat on the show. Absolutely.
A regular on M&C, baby. Oh, good old Space Cat. Miss those great call-ins. Yeah, man. Who else? Alan Savage is here. What's going on, Alan? Thanks for being here, brother. Appreciate it, man.
Good to see Alan Savage. Shout out to Alan.
He's a great dude, man.
Great guy.
Absolutely. Well, almost everybody in this chat's been fucking fantastic. Played games with lots of these people and what have you. But here's one. I guess here's one interesting question. I don't even know if I can think of one, but you kind of raise a great question, and I want to get the audience's reaction as well. What has been perhaps the most reliable or durable console you've ever owned? Something that just seemed like it kept on ticking, even though you give it a banging. You know what I mean? Yeah. We've all known them, and Eve kind of said Nintendo has been notorious for making products that just seem like, man, you couldn't beat them up with a hatchet. You know what I mean? I think we can all vote on which one has probably been the most unreliable. Xbox 360.
Oh my god, that fucking death. When I worked at GameStop, I swear to God, that was like. It was a travesty. And it happened to me too, but just people, I would see them every single fucking day because of the stupid ring. And it only took them like 2 years to figure this shit out. It was absolutely horrible.
It was horrible for them too. I watched the article on that, and it was a nightmare. But I mean, at least they did right by the fans, right? At the end of the day. They took a massive hit. I mean, financially, but I mean, for most people, at least they went out and fixed a lot of the problems.
At first, they didn't. At first, they had us actually like charge for a whole nother system because they had issues returning the system.
I mean, I got to tell you, it's funny, and don't get me wrong, it doesn't take away from anyone's story and the issues that they had. I don't know what happened. I don't know if literally like the Pope came in and blessed my 360 before I bought it, and I wasn't there. I had no issues with my 360. I had two. I had the 120 gig, the one that came in like that matte black finish. I had that one, and I also had the 25 gig white one that everyone kind of had.
Right.
And
our starter edition.
I will say that the white one that I had did kind of start to give out at the end a little bit, but it wasn't red ringing, and I had no issues with the matte black finish one. I just, to be honest with you, I didn't, but everyone I knew had an issue. So I mean, it was a problem. But to answer your question, New, is to this day, even in this house right now, I still have my original NES. I have that from the day I got it when I was a kid. I've got. My God, I don't know if I have. I'll take a snapshot, send it out on Twitter. I got to have somewhere around, I want to say 65 to 85 games still. That's the ones that like you didn't trade with your friends and never got back.
Right.
Right. So this is how you share a game. Yes, I remember that. I can do that.
Yep.
So right. I think my friends still have it.
It was terrible.
Yeah, they went and traded it into the local mom and pop shop. Probably got like $20 for it.
Can you imagine how much this shit's worth now?
Right?
My mom used to get mad at me because she would literally buy me all the new games, and my friends would come over and fucking borrow them all, but they'd never have anything to lend me. She's like, they're going play them for a couple days and then fucking finish them, and then wait till I buy a new one. They do it again.
But the console still works. The games still work.
I know. Well, the NES, especially the Super Nintendos, I don't think I've ever had anybody that I've ever known had to return a Super Nintendo. Like, I think those fucking things are made out of granite. Like, and they usually work. There's the one thing with the NES, a lot of them didn't break per se, but how many fucking NESs did you have to blow on the damn cartridges or shake them or hold the spring down on the release or something because the disc tray didn't drop just right? Like that thing was a bit of a nightmare, but they didn't really break. But yeah, so.
Oh yeah, I've been blowing Nintendo for years.
Tell.
That should be a T-shirt. My first blowjob, and it shows an NES console.
I think that shirt's already out there.
Oh, that would be funny. Oh my God.
But it is true, right? Those consoles still work. The games still work. It's insane.
Yeah. You go back and
actually,
still going.
I brought it up on Sunday's show. I'll bring it up again, guys. I think one of the rumors, it's not confirmed, or at least I haven't. There's been pictures of people seeing it in certain spot GameStops, but GameStop is getting into the retro business again. And listen, I understand. I listen, and I know I'm in good company here with Primal and Noof. They like the physical. I'm not into physical, content right now. I buy a lot of stuff digital, but
I don't do physical because I can't afford it.
Well, the thing is I prefer, but I wouldn't mind going to a GameStop and picking up some SNES, NES games.
It's different.
It is different. And listen, they're not going to be cheaper than the mom and pops. I'm not saying that, but it'll give them another avenue. It gives the reason for the store to exist. And I know a lot of people are excited to go, oh, the hell with GameStop. They screwed me over on fill in the blank. Mm-hmm. And listen, we've all had that experience, but I'm telling you, it's one of the only places, if not the only place left for us gamers to go in, have awesome conversation with other gamers in there, and BS about what you hate, what you love, what pissed you off, what didn't. And that's a meeting place for it's really cool. And once that's gone, I'm telling you, like Toys R Us is already gone. That's gone. Where is it that like, you know, all you have left is just social media after that, and we know what that is, and that's a great tool as well. But at the same time, I don't want to see GameStop go. So if that's something that can revitalize them, I would go and support that. I would go buy some older games. I have the old systems. Any games that I don't have, I would definitely go out there and support them. I support the mom and pop local retro stores as well. I think everyone.
I love those. Those are my favorite. And I remember back in the day, and I don't know if it's just because GameStop put a really bad impact on me. I worked there forever. I got pregnant because of it. All that shit. So I'm just like, I wish I could rewind time and go back to when GameStop first started, when it was more, it wasn't about pushing sales,
right.
reserves, get our Game Informer card, blah, 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 blah. It was actually having a conversation with someone. Actually talking about the game. It was getting excited about the game. I miss Funko Lands. Those were my favorite fucking stores ever. If they could magically go backwards and bring that back, I wouldn't mind popping into a GameStop here.
Well, that's it. Once you become a franchise and your numbers show up on the New York Stock Exchange, that's when shit gets real. That's when you got stockholders to hold too, and everybody's waiting for the numbers to go up. So there you go. Right? And they don't care how they got to do it. They just want it to do it.
That's the thing, Noof. I mean, we got to kind of get down to it, and we can run down memory lane. And I'm with Primal on what she said, because I do remember when GameStop was that way, and I remember when they did the turnaround. They were like, you know, I remember buying, you know, a game that just came out at midnight release, and they're like, hey, anything else you want to put $5 on? We got this coming out and this coming out and this coming out. And I was, wait, I'm like, I 2 weeks ago you didn't ask me all these questions. What's happening? They're like, oh, we have to ask you now. And I'm like, okay. I mean, here's my thing though. If anyone's ever done sales, cut these folks a break. You know, I mean, I used to sell everything. I sold newspapers. You sell things, and like, you know, it's like sales is tough. You know, it's a tough business, but you know, I think sales is sometimes in the person and sometimes it's not. When they're just pushy and they're just annoying, that's the wrong way to approach the customer. There's a right way to do it. Try to make a relationship with the customer. And then when you find out that they're huge sports fans, you go, hey, by the way, you know, MLB The Show or Madden's coming out. Did you want to put $5 on it? Reserve it. You get this really cool, you know, picture of so-and-so that's on the cover this year. You know, like try to breach a subject that hits the particular customer the right way.
Exactly. It's all about customer service, and that's actually that's my thing. That's what I do. The one thing that somebody wants to be treated is like a friend, and you also want to be remembered, and it is having that relationship. It is being able to walk in and be like, hey Bob, hey Tom, you know, like it's that comfort, it's that greatness, and it's that return value. People don't do that anymore.
It's the same reason you like your local or your familiar bar or restaurant. Like when you walk in and the owner or the manager or your bartender at the buddy's like, Primal, what's up? And you're like, hey, what's up? And then someone who's with you is like, oh, you know them? Oh, yeah, I come here all the time. They know who I am. We'll be taken care of. Like people like that genuine feeling of being welcome, right? Or being known. And that's the thing when you're just like, that'll be $64.19 with tax. And by the way, you want to buy this. You're like, what is this? And I put a quarter in this guy. Why is he talking so fast? What was the third game you mentioned? I didn't even hear you. I gotta go. Bye.
And it's horrible because then they hold your money and your receipt if you pay with cash, and you can't leave without that. But they won't give it to you until they're done talking.
The secret to that is walk in exactly with $64.19.
Right.
I'll see you later. Email me the receipt. I gotta
go. All right, let's hit up the chat again. What's going on, guys? Hopefully, I've given everybody a shout out. What's happening, Sathius and Squeamish Cub 465? Thanks for joining the show, Joshua Galveo. What is happening, my brother? How's everybody doing tonight? 56 watching, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. To make sure you hit that like button or the down tab, which either way, we hope that we're rocking the show again. We can't appreciate our guests enough. We have the one, the only, the Mooch. Yes, when people hear the yelling, they know who is in the house.
Yeah, like, who's screaming on News Channel? Let me check it out real quick. What's
happening?
Sofa
King, what's happening, man? I hope everybody's doing good. Yes, thanks for everybody asking me how I've been doing this past week. Much better than it was about 4 or 5 days ago, guys. So thanks for being here. Let's get into one of the next topics. Then we got some movie kind of topics to get into. Next one, a very popular game from last year, made a lot of waves in the industry. It was one of the most celebrated and unique games we played in a long time. And it was a game that's very whimsical, fantastically drawn. And I'm referring to the one and the only, it is Cuphead. Came out exclusively for a long period of time on the Xbox and PC. And then it became available last year for the Nintendo Switch. It looks like it's getting its first DLC, which is going to come in 2020. It was supposed to apparently drop this year, but I guess just due to the fact that they don't want to employ any type of work type crunch, they're taking their time to make it as good as it can be and live up to that Cuphead reputation. They are taking their time. They released a statement today from the Moldenhauers from CDMR or CDHR, whatever the hell they call it there, up here in Canada. They are taking their time with it. They want to make it great. I see they have a cute little new character in there, some kind of like a snowman Sasquatch kind of thing. The DLC itself is called Delicious Last Course. Is coming 2020. We don't know the exact date, but it looks fantastic. Cuphead was a real treat last year, big hit, hard as hell. I've never finished it. I do want to finish it. It's definitely one of those games that I really want to get to the end of. What do you guys think of the new DLC? And again, it's coming out on Switch, all that's good stuff. And maybe once the DLC's it, maybe it actually gets a physical release on the Switch as well. I don't think it even got a physical release on the Xbox, did it?
I don't believe so. I don't
think so.
I think, and it's funny. We'll see how it does. I think here's the situation. I'm not sure if the DLC is going to do as great as the original. I think that level of complexity in the game, the way that it's situated, I think that's gonna. I think people have either said, "I truly appreciate it. I'm glad I have it." Like myself personally, I literally have, I believe, 3 bosses left. And this one that I'm on right now would almost make you leave gaming entirely. You're like, come on, let's get real here. There's difficult, and there's like, what the hell did you just make? So I think they went a little overboard on some of the difficulty there. I love the game. I love the art style. Yes. I'm not sure unless they add more of there was a few. You guys know what I'm talking about if you played the game. There's a few sprinkled in missions where you actually play. And yes, it's difficult, but it's fun. Yeah, it's
I like those,
right? The ones where you play through the board and then the enemy was at the end versus the one where it was just like, all right, fight. And you're like, what the hell? You just get done with a fight where you were just cursing at your controller and like your television set, you called your television set names that you never even made. You made names up.
Yeah.
And then the minute you get done with that, you're like, you go into another one and it's like, Louis says, fight. And you're like, come on, we just did this. Why am I fighting Louis? And, so it's like, all right. So the whole point of the matter is that, like, I think the DLC, if they're taking their time, I would rather them, instead of giving me 12 bosses where I just fight them, I'd rather they gave me 4 or 5 levels I play through and enjoy, like that carnival mission. There's a couple of them. There's some great ones they're memorable. And that's what I attribute the beauty and the style and the difficulty of Cuphead. The ones where you just went in and did boss battle. That necessarily, for me personally, for the level of difficulty and the frustration, you're kind of like, I don't know if I'm really getting. I don't know if I'm getting the excitement I want out of the amount of anger I'm getting out of. You know what I mean? It was not anger, but it's like frustration.
Absolutely.
That's my take on it.
I agree with you. I think that was some of the best parts of that game was the side-scrolling levels.
Yes.
Because they were still hard, but you get your little break from the bosses that were a little bit cheap at times and stuff. So, Primal, how about you? Excited about the DLC, and what do you think of them just kind of taking their time and literally stating that, hey, we're not going to burn out our employees trying to make this DLC because we do want to make it the best it can be, but it's not going to come at the sacrifice of people pushing 16-hour shifts.
All right, I'll try and keep this short. I think it's fantastic that there's DLC. I think it's fantastic that they're being transparent and being like, hey, we're going to get this right before you guys even get it. But my relationship with Cuphead is fuck that game. Fuck him. Okay. I played it at launch. I tried my best. I got pissed off. And I like a game that pisses me off in the right way.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, I'll give this another shot. And I walked away or something, and my daughter grabbed the controller and she made it like 3 or something levels ahead of me within like 20 minutes. I lost my shit. And it was uninstalled immediately, and she said why, and she's like, I was like, we're done. That game's just not being played in this house. And that was my experience with Cuphead. So no, I think it's great. I really like it when developers take their time. Please don't give out half-ass fucking shit to people who have been waiting for something to be complete. Like it drives me fucking nuts. You hear me, EA? You hear me?
I wonder if it'll be free DLC or if it'll be just like a probably a small fee or something for it. Because I can't see them making a ton of levels because they're really hard to make because of the hand-drawn nature of that game.
Right.
So I just wonder how they're going to do. They didn't say if it would cost money or not. Like if you already bought the full version, maybe you'll get it. Would it be? Because I think you can play Cuphead is in Game Pass, is it not? Right?
That's a great question. My initial thought is no, but I don't know.
I can't remember if it is or it isn't. Maybe somebody in the chat knows. Is Cuphead in Game Pass? Anybody? Does anybody know if it is?
Right now, I have the Xbox on. It's always on. All right.
But then again, I guess if you already have the game of Game Pass, and a lot of the DLC is probably not free anyway, right? Spider-Man says not yet. Now there's a weird one, right? You'd almost
Spider-Man. Well, let me tell you who does know Game Pass. That's Spider-Man. Okay, Spider-Man, I think co-developed Game Pass. So if anybody has any questions, please ask Spider-Man 356. He knows exactly what's going on with Game Pass. I believe everything he says when it comes to Game Pass. He's shout out to Spider-Man. He's a great guy. And by the way, he's the toughest guy to ever hang out with in a game. Hey, Spider-Man, what do you think of this game? F yourself. It's fantastic. Okay, thanks for the cursing. Let's move on to the next question for Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Have you ever hung out with Spider-Man in a chat?
Yeah, I have before. Yeah, with you.
I don't know if
I got news for it. He knows how to curse. Shout out to Spider-Man. Great guy.
Yeah, I don't friendly neighborhood part, right? But
you can leave friendly and neighborhood out of it. But yeah, that's our buddy Spider-Man. No, I don't think it is. Believe me, Primal. If it was, Spider-Man would know. Trust me, he would know.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at it right now. It's not there.
But that's a great question though, Noof.
Mm-hmm. No, Spider-Man says it isn't. So yeah, that's interesting.
Well, no, but with other games and stuff, they did charge a small fee for certain add-ons, like with the Resident Evil. Shit, what the hell was it? One of the Resident Evils that was episodic that they did. They charged a small fee per episode, and then didn't they charge for Halo? Fucking fuck. That thing.
That sounds like an interesting game.
I don't remember that DLC. I would have sold like hotcakes.
Great part in my head. Yeah, for the Master Chief. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I have a horrible mouth and it's not going away. But I've heard it's very good too.
No chills.
I think if anything, I could see them paying or charging a small fee for it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
that's there.
I definitely think if it's not in Game Pass, it's going to come with some sort of a fee. It's DLC, and it's not. Yeah, because if it was in Game Pass, that's a different story. But there seems to be, every contract that every company, Sony, Microsoft, doesn't matter who it is, you could see how each of these contracts run differently, don't you? I mean, you have a contract that you use Sony, for example, with Bloodborne, and that's apparently not going to be on multiple consoles. But then you have something like Detroit Become Human, and that's going to be on PC soon. So it's like, you see how these different contracts are. Cuphead, for some reason, a studio that was, needing Microsoft's financial help, needing this and that, got a couple of other resources to come in and help them finish the game. You think a game like that would totally be in Game Pass, right? Not that I'm saying that it should. I'm saying you would just expect that, and it's not. So it's interesting, right? It's interesting how things are written up. Meanwhile, Cuphead's not in Game Pass, okay? But they're going to be in Teslas and Switches. Go figure that one out. So yeah, that's something that, food for thought right there.
For sure. What's going on, J-Force Games? Thanks for checking out the podcast, man. Greatly appreciated. Who else? Cyber Gunter's in the house. What's happening, my friend Cyber? Squeamish Cub. I've never played Cuphead. Should I try it? I'd say absolutely go try it. How far you get in it, that is up to you. It depends on your patience level. Because let me tell you, yes, if you are a short fuse, you'll probably swear at it quite a bit, like Primal just said. So just to be aware, it's cute in nature, but it's a beast of a game. It will definitely test your reflexes and your quick thinking skills. You will definitely want to use that Y button because you need to jump and do the little that little back and forth swishy thing, and it's crazy because I played it co-op. It's kind of funny because I played it co-op with people too at my house, and they come in and you think it's going to be a walk in the park and co-op, and to be honest with you, I think it's almost harder because then your fucking buddy
it's
kind
way
of getting
harder
in your way, and you can't see shit sometimes, and you're like, God damn it, I didn't see that shot. You know what I mean? So
I felt the same way with the 2D scroller. It was on the Wii U, and then it was also now it was just recently brought over Super Mario Brothers Deluxe. You could play Mario Luigi couch co-op. It's absolutely atrocious. I think the developers decided to put that in there so they could just laugh at us. It's not, a lot of times you're playing with anybody, friends, family, and you're like, you know what? In Mario Brothers, you're like, just die and bubble because you're in the bubble, and you're like, I'll get us through the board. Just stay bubble. Hey, look, this is the part I can do. No, just stay in the bubble. Okay, I will take us through the course. You cannot get through this. No, I really feel like I can do this part, Mooch. Stop it. You can't. Stay bubbled. I'll get you through. And it's the same thing here. Like, this is something where you think you'd have another person there to help you, but realistically, you're timing your jumps. You're really doing. The people that really kind of dig Cuphead love to have those. How do I put it? The challenge is all timing and memorization. You have to remember the attack of the enemy. You have to know when it is, where it is, and how it lands. And you do the board over and over and over again until you finally get the path of righteousness, if you will. That's how you defeat the enemy or the level. And there's a lot of people that go, screw that. That's not my bag. That's not what I didn't come here to do the same. Like when I got as far as I got, I would just keep doing the same enemy over and over and over again. And then, after some of them you got in 10 minutes, some of them you got in 20. And I remember one or two, it took 45 minutes for me to get just to understand the path of the destruction coming through from the enemy. It is what it is, but some people just aren't into that. That's not their bag.
No, but the thing about that is when you finally do it, it's so like there's so much satisfaction from that. It's just like, I don't know. It's for me, maybe it's because I haven't been laid in years, but it's just like having an orgasm. Like when once you're finally able to finish something that you've been working at for so long, it feels really good. And it's the same way with doing like a campaign on Insane or Legendary, when you have to keep going and doing the same level over and over again. And it is great to have a friend do it with you too, because then that's when you actually become even better friends. It's positivity.
Absolutely. Speaking of friends doing it with you, yes, for those of you who don't know, you can play co-op in Cuphead, but it is local co-op only. We're still waiting on the online co-op, which they did at one point actually allude to, that they were trying to make it happen, but we haven't seen it yet. I'm wondering if it might come along with that DLC.
If that was something, I would really, I would go in again if somebody wanted to take me with them.
There you go.
There you go. I'll tell you, it's not easier though with two people. I'll tell you right now. I agree with Noof wholeheartedly. I think it's more difficult because what's happening is you're trying to pay attention to the timing and the jumps, and if you have somebody else doing that, the jump in front of you or behind you, your peripheral vision, just the way that your eyes move, it'll throw you off. Now that doesn't mean with time you two won't get it, but you're going to need. I think you need more time to do it in sync. Think about anything. I don't care if you're looking at an Olympics ice skating routine, okay? You watch one person do it, it's one thing. They got to get their timing right. They got to hit that toe pick just at the right point, right? And then all of a sudden you got to watch two of them. The guy's got to catch the girl while she's doing a triple Lindy in the air. It's not easy, okay? It's a lot easier for him to do his own toe pick issue. Not that I know what I'm talking about, but I'm just saying.
There you go.
To be harmonious and do it at the same time is definitely more difficult.
So CDMR or CDHR, whatever the company is, I always forget it.
MDHR or MHDR,
MHDR or whatever. But make that online happen, because then it sounds like at least one lucky gamer might actually get some online Cuphead in with Primal.
No! I wish I recorded that.
All right. Just had to get that one. Let's move on to we're gonna move it over to a little bit of a movie talk. Spider-Man Far From Home came out today. I'm hearing some good things about it. Some people saying it's ho-hum. I'm excited to see the movie. I will probably go check it out in a week or so. But there's also some new DLC drop for free today. If you happen to be a fan and owner of the Spider-Man game on PS4, they dropped a couple new uniforms from the movie that you can use. They have the main Spider-Man suit, which has the black color now instead of the blue. And they also have the noir suit, sort of the stealth suit, the black one that he wears in the movie when he goes, I guess, overseas or whatever. So yeah, that's pretty cool. At least it's free. It's a couple of new suits. Doesn't mean a whole lot, but hey, if you still like the game and you're playing the shit out of it, I tried it out again today just because I wanted to go and swing around. As Mooch said once, swing to the left, swing to the right, keep swinging a whole friggin' night. But that's pretty cool. I think it's awesome, guys. What do you think of that? And then what are your take on the movie? You excited to go see this one or what?
Well, the game itself, I mean, myself personally, I was saying that, and listen, in all honesty, full retrospect, what did I say? It was going to be a lot of rooftop fights swinging around. I really wasn't wrong. The one thing I will say where I was wrong is that Insomniac actually nailed the Spider-Man genre to a T. And, if you've got a game about swimming, make the swimming in the water. Like to be honest with you, like Rare's interpretation of Sea of Thieves, the water is mesmerizing. Mm-hmm. And in the same retrospect, if you're playing a Spider-Man game, that swinging to the left and swinging to the right, which has been okay in the past, they perfected. And there's been times I can fast travel. And even though I'm going from one length to the other, and I actually just pulled up my PlayStation app, I 100%ed the main game. I 100%ed one of the three. There's three, I believe, DLCs. I 100%ed one, and then I'm about 15% into the second one. I've got 72, according to this, 72% of the overall game done with the DLC.
Wow, nice.
I love the game. I really do think it's a lot of fun. And what I mean by love is, no, it's not Witcher 3 love. No, it's not BioShock love. No, it's not Gears love. But what it is that game where you can pick up the controller, especially like a game like tonight, to be honest with you. You get done doing a podcast and you're like, I want to get some gaming in. But, with a game like Days Gone, you're invested in the story. You want to do it. I myself personally, I'd like to do 2 or 3 main missions, a side quest or 2. That's a bit of time and dedication. Here where I've got an hour, I can get on there. I can do 2 or 3 of the missions and Spider-Man put the controller down and feel like you get some accomplishment out of it. And it's still a story mission and it continues the story and progression from where you last left off. That's something that I think this game is special about. Plus the mechanics and the feel of the game is just exquisite. It really is. It's like silk. It feels good.
Combat fluid, yeah.
Absolutely. So, I mean, again, it's the same Batman Arkham Knight kind of combat. So you're used to that. That was also a hit. But they perfected the swinging and they got it down. So I really think that the game is fantastic. The fact that they keep adding the skins in for all of you guys, I'm not a huge, as you guys know, if you've been following me all these years, I'm not a massive, the last time I was in the comic books was like eons ago. So I don't really do all that. I'm not a big time Spider-Man fan. I've seen all the movies. Yes, I keep up with stuff, but I'm not like diehard. So when they say, hey, look at, what we threw in? We threw in the new Spider-Man skin. Like I already have in the game. I literally already have all of them but 2. So I have 50 skins or 40 skins or whatever it is, 36 skins. Like they added another one that doesn't drive me to go back. What drives me to go back is more content.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're on the fence, man, I think Spider-Man's for sale for like $20-$30. It's definitely a pickup.
Totally. Well, I can tell you the best superhero games I think that I can recall playing in the last couple of generations that really stood out to me. Obviously, Batman Arkham Asylum, the first one, was just phenomenal. Batman Arkham Knight.
I like City better than all of them. City was my favorite. Yeah,
I like the first one, and then I really like the third one a lot because I really like the combat was a lot more fluid by the third one, but I didn't like the driving mechanics. They went a little bit.
That's what killed me. Yeah, I didn't like the Batmobile at all.
And we liked the Batmobile, but they kind of went overboard. It kind of went from
could you make the streets any more narrow?
Narrow, a lot of stuff to run into, and then those stupid Riddler levels, you had to drive the car through the pipes. Those were annoying as frig. Yeah. But anyway, I mean, this Spider-Man game is phenomenal. I love it. I'm agreeing with you, Mooch. I've played quite a bit of it myself. I'm super happy with this. It's by far the best Spider-Man game, and there have been some decent Spider-Man games. I know the Spider-Man one, Shattered Dimensions, was pretty good from a few years back. So that's my question to you guys. But Primal, what do you think of the DLC and the new Spider-Man game? Have you even played the new one? And what do you think of it?
To play it.
Oh, really?
It's there.
Somebody send that girl a game.
Getting played.
Oh, you got it, or you just haven't played it?
I have it kinda, but I haven't played it yet. It's in a backlog type thing.
Gotcha.
But if somebody wants to send me a game, you guys can send me Bloodstained on the Xbox. Primal Eve.
This part of the show is brought to you by Mooch.
There you go. Bloodstained getting plenty of drops tonight. That's fantastic.
It's addictive.
So you got three guys, and between all the Spider-Man games you played, what's been your favorite one? I think we know the answer quite easily. And I want to also know what's your favorite Spider-Man movie from all of the Spider-Man movies that have been out,
shit.
and who's your favorite actor to play Spider-Man? Mooch, you
Yeah.
want to take the floor in this one?
Yeah, I will. I mean, the game is definitely the PS4 version. Insomniac, I think, is probably, and now I say that, and everybody's like, "No shit, Mooch." But I said it a long time ago. Insomniac is really the, I think that shining star this generation. I think for this generation of console, yes, absolutely, Corey Balrog and all them. You guys already know I picked God of War last year as my game of the year, but I mean, I gotta be honest with you, like Insomniac just really, for being that independent team and always getting up and busting their ass, they're the company that deserves that. So I will say that the PS4 version of Spider-Man is by far a landslide victory in the best Spider-Mans. As far as the movies go, again, I didn't think any of them, especially, let's be honest, if you're talking about Spider-Mans with Tobey Maguire, then there was the Spider-Man remake that one guy got 1 or 2 out of, and then
Andrew
he just
Garfield, yeah.
Yep, that one. And then of course you've got, what's his name there, Holland.
Tom Holland,
playing, right?
yeah.
Tom Holland is playing. So listen, I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna stay true to my age group. I still think Tobey Maguire is the best. Tom Holland being the second, and then that other guy that no one remembers his name is definitely
Andrew
dead
Garfield.
last. Yes. So I think, but I mean, out of the first 3, I mean, the third one I try to erase from my memory. I like the original. I really do. I like James Franco. And who can get rid of what's his name? Is it William Dafoe?
Yeah,
just a fantastic villain. Listen, I got news for you.
The guy looked like the Goblin without the mask.
William Dafoe could be in the Wizard of Oz as the star, like protagonist, and he would look like the villain.
No, he's a fucking villain. Like
he just looks like a villain.
He came out like looking to fucking kill everybody.
Absolutely. So I mean, I gotta be honest with you. That's my whole thing. I would say definitely that. But I mean, Primal, did you not agree with that? You're not a fan of the Tobey years?
I don't know. I don't know if it's because the crying face. I don't know. I really.
Yeah, the memes didn't help him.
No, and I can't stand Kirsten Dunst. I can't stand her. There's something about her that fucking just, like, I don't know, just like irks me.
For that time era though, she was the it girl. She was definitely doing her thing.
Yeah, it was because she had that, and then she had fucking that damn cheerleading movie. What the fuck was that called?
Oh yeah,
Spear Fingers.
Bring It. What was it called? I don't know.
Fingers.
Spirit Fingers.
Well, she had one of her big roles was in was it the
Bring
Vampire?
It On. Yeah,
Bring It On. Yeah.
That was one of her first. She made it with Brad Pitt in that one, Interview with the Vampire.
That's right.
Yeah,
she was a child.
Like 12.
Yeah, she was, which is kind of all the more controversial, right?
Yeah, it was interesting. It wasn't a kiss. It was like a peck thing. It wasn't really that big of a deal. I don't. As far as the movie, I'm actually thoroughly impressed with Tom Holland. With him being a younger version of Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield gave me hope. His move, those 2 movies weren't bad, but I don't know. Toby.
Come on, girl, stop beating around your bush. Get to it. What one was your favorite?
I don't have one. That's the thing.
You had to like wait.
I'm trying hard to find like a redeeming quality.
When you think about Peter Parker, and Tom Holland gave Peter a run for his money, or excuse me, Toby a run for his money. But I mean, when you think about the Peter Parker character, just everything that you know, whether you're familiar with the cartoon or you're familiar with the comic, whatever brought you into the Spider-Man universe.
Oh man,
Toby just kind of, I just think he nailed, especially think about the first one. Don't think about the second or the third one when he comes out acting like John Travolta. Like, forget that. Like,
oh no,
you know what I mean?
Like the initial awkward kid fucking trying to like just get by and all that stuff. Yeah, no, I see it. Yeah. I don't know. Kirsten.
Spider-Man 2, man, for me. Spider-Man 2 was awesome. Spider-Man 3 could have been decent if they had let Sam Raimi do his thing, but they kind of tied his hand and they made him do a lot of changes to that movie that he really wasn't too keen on. One in Topher Grace I thought was terrible.
Topher Grace.
They should have just left it with the Sandman because I know even the special effects on the Venom weren't that good at the time. And of course that queer dancing scene where he's up on the tables and shit and all that stuff. Like it just started getting too tacky. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a little awkward.
It's kind
The
of like
number
a
It
two
jump
was
start.
fantastic.
the time frame and stuff when that
You
came
know.
out. Those movies weren't really.
I love the suit. I
of
like
caliber.
Toby's demeanor. You know, you got to give Toby credit.
Shout
He
out
put
to
on a little
Midway
muscle.
7 Monster though. He makes a great point. I got to be honest with you. If you
Oh,
if you
Marissa Tomei.
Marissa
Oh, yeah.
Tomei, I mean,
Yeah.
to be honest with you,
Yeah,
anyone
she
that's
punched it.
you know, I'm
Oh
100%
my God.
Italian. You know, I got to be honest with you. Who forget?
My
I can't forget
cousin
Marissa, my cousin Vinny,
My
right?
cousin Vinny.
And then all of a sudden she
yes.
comes back out of nowhere. And I know she might have done a couple small
Yeah.
films in between. Comes out and she's just knockout. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I don't know
I
who
will
else. I was
never
thinking, is it
forget
Aunt May
her
or
with
is
the
it Aunt
fucking
May?
pieced out hair and the tight ass dresses. And
right?
my
What a
cousin
difference
Vinny, yeah.
between the two Aunt Mays. I really think that Toby got shafted.
Hey Peter, come in here. Hi Peter. It's just almost like, hey Peter, what you doing, Peter?
Sounds like Family Guy.
Oh,
All right,
man.
Jesus, guys, yeah.
There we go. Another thing. A new impression is born.
Fuck. All right, so there we have it. I think Spider-Man. Well, Spider-Man 2. You said yours was Spider-Man 1, Mooch, with Toby.
Yeah, I gotta go there. I got it. And I hate to be classic and just vanilla there, but really, to be honest with you, it was. If you say which one do I want to watch right now, again, I would watch that one. I think that one was just, again, it hit the characters just right. And give credit where credit's due. William Dafoe, outstanding actor. Who knows how many like Oscars he has? James Franco, probably one of the funniest SOBs in the past 15 years on film, and plus just a hell of an actor, right? He's done so many wacky and like serious films. And then you've got Toby, who's I just think if you look at him as a person, and he wasn't Tobey Maguire, he could be Peter Parker. Like he could be Peter Parker, you know? So it all kind of blended in quite well.
It's funny though, like because that kind of movie kind of made his career and then killed it at the same time. Because his man hasn't really done anything since he left number 3. Isn't that true?
Trust me, he's doing just fine.
He's just living on the royalties.
He's doing just fine. He's doing great.
He should have been making like kids appearances at Spider-Man costume parties, right? Hey guys, that's me, Toby. You remember me? Upside down kissing.
That was me.
When Ivani was to come and do a Spider-Man film, I'd be swinging to the left, I'd be swinging to the right, I'd be putting on these tights, and I'd hate them, I'd have to tear them off, so I'd only had the blue leotards, and then I'd swing down and kick your ass. I wouldn't need a spider webs because they'd club you over the head with a baseball bat, and then I'd tie you up, and I'd shoot you over the building. That's what I would do if I was Arnold and I was Spider-Man.
Thank God Arnold wasn't.
Thank God he wasn't. It'd be horrendous. Oh, my Lord. Could you imagine?
Money.
Could you imagine 80s Arnold Schwarzenegger Spider-Man like putting the suit on?
He really hasn't done shit. I'm sorry. I had to go through and look, and it's funny because I went to IMDb and you go to the trivia where it gives you like fun facts about him. The second one is enjoys yoga and cooking. Like that's what he's doing right now. Yeah, he's living life.
Wow. No doubt. I mean, Kirsten Dunst kind of went on to do lots of things afterwards, and she's still fairly busy. But yeah, like crazy how like 1 minute it makes a career and kills a career. It's nuts. I mean, Andrew Garfield was fairly established before he did the Spider-Man role, and he's been kind of doing a few movies since. But yeah, that's enough on the Spider-Man talk. Let's swing into another topic. We're going to keep the guests here too long tonight. We're at 9:32. We got a couple more to quickly touch on. Well, since we're kind of like on movies and stuff, the first poster dropped for The Witcher, teasing Henry Cavill. We all know that he's taken over the role as the infamous Geralt. What do you guys, are you excited for the series to see how this pans out? What do you think of the? I mean, obviously Primal. I'm going to get her to start in this. And what you think? Seeing the back of Henry Cavill as Geralt. I'm sure your nipples went in a high latitude there.
No. I am not a fan of Sir Henry there. I don't know. I think he was great as Superman. Like he looks like fucking oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I can't remember his name. The Superman. Help me out here.
Christopher Reeve?
Thank you. Okay, yeah, he definitely like suits that. I'm a massive Witcher fan. Like I am above and beyond books, fucking having to listen to the soundtrack to put myself to sleep. I still listen to the soundtrack at work sometimes when no one's paying attention.
Nice.
But the thing that's starting to irritate me is people complaining about how he doesn't have 2 swords on his back, how like he doesn't have a certain look. this show is not based off of the game, guys. It's based off of the books. It's not gonna be completely the same.
Right.
Now, if you see the actual like screenshots of like Yennefer and Ciri, it's kind of odd because they don't look and like we all have this image of the game in our heads. So seeing these guys, it is very odd. Yennefer doesn't look like Yennefer. Ciri doesn't look like Ciri.
Right.
But I am hoping that this is going to be okay. I keep my expectations low with everything, including like relationships and sex, because it's usually never good. But I don't know. I have seen the original Witcher show, the Polish series that came out years and years ago, and that was something. If you guys want to laugh, I believe it's still up on YouTube now.
Corny.
It's I'm probably butchering the name right now, but it's Weidsman. It's Polish for Witcher.
Right.
Look that up. It is absolutely entertaining in like that B class movie type way.
Right.
So I know for a fact that at least the show will probably be better. I am excited. The closer it gets, the more excited I will be. But you guys cannot look at this like you're playing the game.
Right.
Otherwise, you're going to be disappointed. You're setting yourself up for disappointment.
Yeah. Anybody in the chat excited for the new Witcher show? I mean, it's coming on Netflix, and hope to God it's good because Netflix has been losing shows left, right, and center. And plus, I need a new fix now that the Game of Thrones is freaking done. And
I know
I've already dropped
TV
my
shows.
subscription to my Crave. I was like, yeah, I'm not watching Crave anymore. There's lots of good stuff on Crave too, but I mean, I'm already paying for Netflix. I ain't paying for Crave too. Like I said this before, you get one subscription here, one subscription here, one subscription there, and the next thing you got your bloody cable bill all over again.
Yeah, you're better off keeping cable. That's what I've been saying for a long time.
Right.
I mean, I'll tell you right now, I think this Netflix thing is going to be a hit. I think it's going to be good. I could see where Primal's coming from if you're not a big, is it Henry, am I saying it right, Cavill?
That's why I called Mr. Henry.
Yeah, Henry Cavill.
Cavill. Like, I mean, I agree. I thought he was a very good Superman. I think he's going to do fine here, to be honest with you. I also, myself personally, I got to be honest, you guys know this. I'm in my will. I'm actually leaving The Witcher 3 to my great-great-grandkids because it won't.
Oh my God, it's the one game I won't uninstall.
I'll never finish it, and neither will 3 generations of Mooch. No, Primal, it's almost impossible. I'd have to
never finished it. Are you fucking kidding me?
No, I'd have to have broken both my legs and been able to not have to leave my house for about 6 months.
Oh
I don't know how you did it, to be honest.
So you haven't even done the DLC. I have. Like, I
own it all.
Achievement in the game. I've done it all. Oh my God, the DLC is even almost better than the actual game.
I've heard that from everybody, and I doubt nobody. I think everyone's right.
No,
I think the game's great.
Absolutely.
But I mean, I got to be honest with you. What I'm thinking of doing, and I can't believe I'm even saying this. Oh my God. I'm thinking about starting over again.
You know what?
And
you're
just
because
I don't remember where I left off. It's been like
you're gonna have to. It's not that kind of game that you drop and then come back months later because you're not gonna know what the hell you're doing.
So I'm thinking if this show's on and it's a hit and everyone's talking about it, it's gonna really, really entice me to jump back. I love the game. I did, and I got a distance in it. But I'm not, I think I have like 68, 70 hours, something like that.
You're going to make me look inclined.
Oh.
You have like 6, if you beat it and you're saying what you say, I already know, because shout out to Matty Beast. Matty Beast, when he first beat the game, sent me a snapshot. He's like, Mooch, you got to play this game and beat it. He had 1,000 out of 1,000 it, and he had like 635. This is when the game first came out, by the way.
Yeah.
He had 635 or 647 hours.
Jeez,
easy money 4K says beat it when you retire. That's about right. That is about right.
Gosh, it's just
I might put it on my tombstone. Mooch did this, and finished The Witcher 3. And people be like, wow, he did that. That's amazing. Like, doesn't matter what I could have done in my life. If I beat Witcher 3, I think I'm putting it on the tombstone. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Noof, where are you in this? Apparently, Primal.
No, man, I've traded in my copy. I played probably 30 hours maybe of it, and it felt like I was getting nowhere, and I just sort of lost interest because then I basically play some missions, and then I take a break from the game, and then I come back and forget how to fucking play it because it was so complex. in terms of like its combat system and all of the items and the alchemy and blah blah blah. And I can never
Yeah,
like,
I only have
and
252 hours.
and the world is
Oh,
so
wow.
fucking
That's
massive. You know what I
reachable.
mean? Like
Well,
it's not
250 is
fair.
reachable. 630
But
scared the
that's
shit out of me. Like,
but that
what's
isn't
that?
all the playthroughs. Though I still have my death march, and that alone will probably be another 200 plus hours. But I just, I'm, I'm baffled. How are you able to just stop?
Well, it kind of felt like the never-ending story
You know
without
what?
the big white dog.
I can lose my
Oh,
penis
man.
explosion. I still have an easier time beating my meat than beating that game.
No, Charles. I really got to be honest with you. Like, it's one of the best games, if not the best game
Yeah,
of this
it's
generation.
an incredible game.
I can't take anything away from it, but at the same time, it was such a time crunch. And I'll be honest with you, early on, you do get used to it. The mechanics they're spotty a little, but it was. I mean, the game's fantastic.
Nothing's perfect, but it's pretty.
Shout out
damn
to the
close
chat,
to
Miko Das. What's happening, man? Easy Money 4K.
Yeah, there it is.
Thanks
I
for checking us out, guys.
I just pulled it up. I have 70 hours into the game, and only 230 achievements. Achievement score on it. 230. Like it's just like it's. I got to a certain point.
You just started.
Oh,
Mega Bad
absolutely.
Seed, what's up, brother? Mega Bad Seed in the house.
Absolutely.
Midway Monster, what's happening, brother? What's going on, guys?
I mean, the game is. Oh my God! Not only is it a long game, but I mean, the side quests are like 45 minutes a pop.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh
it's
yeah, no, it's actual true like side
dude.
quest. It's not something where we have to go like.
They
pick up
shouldn't
this
be
item,
called
pick up
side
this
quests, though,
item.
Primal. They should be
I
called like
know.
more quests.
Well, and that's what's crazy because then the DLC has its main story and then more side quests with it too. It's like you have 2 more Witcher games
Yeah.
with the DLC. It's
amazing.
absolutely fucking
No,
nuts.
it's a fantastic game, and that's the
Sorry,
one thing.
Noob, you're Noob was like, yep.
Well, no, but I mean, to be honest with you, that's why Cyberpunk 2077 has me excited and also a bit kind of like probably won't finish that one too, since it wants 780
I'm
hours.
going to be so fucking dick deep into Cyberpunk. I might have to not, like, be able to fucking.
Well, there you go.
podcast
Like,
for a while.
obviously, she's excited for Cyberpunk, probably for the same reason she got excited for Witcher. But like, Mooch, for you, is that what is? I mean, I think you're excited for Cyberpunk, but at the same time, is that kind of a reservation for you? Thinking like, if Cyberpunk is anything like The Witcher, am I going to have the same scenario?
Well, you said it earlier, Noof, didn't you? I mean, you said you would trade in some of these games if you can actually get them to be like, you know, like 20, 30, 40 hours. When you're talking about The Witcher or Cyberpunk, I mean, you've got to take 3 weeks off from work just to scratch the surface. It's one of those, and don't get me wrong, for those of you that love that, that's fantastic. I will definitely experience Cyberpunk. And listen, as Primal just said, still very early on in the game. I just checked it on my app, 70 hours into Witcher 3. That's not chump change for most games.
No.
And like Primal said, it's still like, you know, probably 25% and 30% into the game.
I would say maybe a quarter in.
Right,
yeah.
quarter in, right? So my point being is like, it's just at that point when you get going into that, it's like I think that for me, I would say to get in ravished into a game, 40 hours is awesome. I think when you start getting into 100, 200, 300, 400, like I said, to 1,000 out of 1,000 in the first few months was Matty Beast at 600 and something hours.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
just checked one of my buddies. If you guys know DB Black Raven on Twitter, he has 741 hours.
Right. I mean, that's legit. That's legit.
For a
you know?
single player game, mind
That's
you.
legit.
Well.
So that's my
insane.
point. It's just one of those things where it's kind of like, that's a great game, but look at what we just said earlier in the show. Backlog. The generations don't end anymore, right? You've got game after game. There's so many games that some of the indie games that are coming out that have the level of intensity and beauty and complexity that like Bloodstained has on top of games like Gears and Borderlands coming out and blah blah blah. And then your usuals, right? Your Call of Duties and your Battlefields and all this other stuff coming out. Right, it's just all this stuff coming out. It's like, do I have time for 750 hours?
Like,
we're all being overfed right now.
I've always said, like, one of the best things about this industry is there's so many games. It's actually the same problem with the industry is there's so many games, if that makes any sense, because there's only so many hours, so many money. to fit into games. And this is what I'm saying. And there's so many of them now that everybody's attention spans are drawn all over the place because you're trying to play multiplayer, you're trying to play your single player. You got games now that, back in the day, if you went 30 hours, that was a long game. Now, like some of these, that's just like their starting point. You're like 30 hours, like, damn, and I still got to go. I mean, I've got, I don't know how many hours in the Red Dead Redemption 2 already, and I'm still playing that. So, like, unbelievable. It's just absolutely nuts. I mean, I think it's a good thing, especially if you're the type of person that really enjoys one particular genre, or you're the person that does selectively only buy so many games. And this is what I've said about Game Pass. For me, it's one of the biggest reasons I don't see the point in me even getting Game Pass, because I can't play the games I already buy, and I'm a physical game buyer.
That's a good point.
And if I can't even play the games I just spent $80 on, why the hell do I want to add an extra $10 a month? Why so I can say I got them in my collection? Right?
Yeah,
That's
the thing. And like, I've said this a few weeks now. I put it as a title on Crossfire a few weeks back, is that, there's no doubt, there's no arguing, there's no discussion, there's very little debate to be had that Game Pass is a tremendous value. But what happens is a lot of people, are latching on to Game Pass so that they have that 200 plus gaming catalog at their disposal. And what happens is Microsoft knows that a lot of people, especially that buy 3-4 games a year, now are going to have a hard time relinquishing and letting go of having 200 plus games. So they like to have that as like a cushion. But it comes back to what you just said. Mm-hmm. Those people that bought 3 or 4 games a year, just because they have Game Pass doesn't mean all of a sudden their schedule opened up and they can play 12 to 15 games a year. They were playing 3 to 4 games a year because that's probably what their schedules allotted them to do. Mm-hmm. So, people are going to start getting hooked on Game Pass. That's what they want. They want you to get used to it. They want you to like love it and know that you have 200 plus games, when realistically you're not. You're still playing the mega games that come out. Right. You're not going to skip the triple, because this is what Primal was saying. This is why backlogs grow. People want to play the games in the now. They want to feel that. They want to tweet it out. They want to be part of the conversation. If you're like, oh my God, I just stumbled on Gears 4. We're like, get out of here. Where you been? You know what I mean? Like, so all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I just stumbled on the Cuphead. Leave, get out of, what are you talking about? So my whole point is like, don't get me wrong. It is a tremendous service, but a lot of people want, when Borderlands 3 comes out, do you want to play Borderlands 3 this September, October? Or do you want to play Borderlands 3? I'm being hypothetical here. Or do you want to be Borderlands 3 in Game Pass 12 months from now? Like, no, it's not one, right? It's just not that big of a deal. It doesn't mean somebody that didn't play it won't enjoy it and love it and think it's great value. It is. It's all the above. But the thing I'm trying to say is that what happens with Game Pass is once you have that nest egg, you want to continue to have it. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but don't think that when you're playing your favorite game, let's say you're a Division fan, you're playing Division 2 and you're just playing it and playing it and playing it. And you're like, wow, I've got, like, someone, shout out to J Force in the chat. He was like, I've got 100 and something hours into Division 2. He's not putting Division 2 down to go play, Warhammer Vermintide 2 in Game Pass, right? But
why would he? Because it's like, especially with the multiplayer games, your friends are going to be playing it day one. By the time you come around and play it, you're going to be playing by yourself.
Right? And that's my thing. There's so many games coming out now that, like, it's just it is what it is. Like, why are people going to go see the new Spider-Man this weekend? They have a plethora. They have Netflix. You have Netflix. You don't need to go to the movies. No, they're going to the movies. But the thing is, though, people don't relinquish. Why don't people relinquish Netflix? Why don't they? Because they have 4,000 shows. Most are not good at their access at any point in time, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. But, if I said to Noof right now, hey, Noof, you got rid of HBO? Great. Do me a favor. Tomorrow, get rid of Netflix. He'll go, no. I'll go, why? What are you watching right now? Well, nothing. Why are you holding on to it? Well, why would I get rid of 4,000 shows? Because you're not watching
because Stranger Things comes out in 2 days.
Right. That's my whole thing. I'm holding on to Netflix for Stranger Things. Some people are going to hold on to Game Pass for Halo. And then they're going to hold on to it all the way till next year for Forza.
Exactly.
All the way till next year for So you're going to hold on to this pass like you're waiting for Netflix just for these shows to come out or these games to come out every 2-3 years. And it's like it becomes a comfortable, like, just a pillow or a blanket or a, and that's the thing I'm trying to tell people. It's like, don't get me wrong. It's a tremendous value. I have too. Like, they're going to give me Ultimate for $1. And I had, I have got Games with Gold. I had, not Games with Gold, but Xbox Live Gold until 2022. Sure. I'll match that. You know, I'm a wise consumer. I get it. But once those mega deals are over and they have everybody on there, then people are going to be less likely to relinquish. Think about it. Yes, I know that Stranger Things comes out in a day and a half, and it's a bad time to use this example. But before Stranger Things, were you really hooked and watching Netflix glued to it? No, you were kind of watching Friends for the 85th millionth time. You know, you're like, oh, I love season 4 where Joey gets that cast special. No, you don't. You're just watching because it's familiar and it's the only thing you have on.
It's the same thing with games, just like all these
remasters. Yeah, but
and
the difference between Netflix though and gaming is Netflix and TV shows or movies are short dose entertainment. You can, I mean, unless you're into a TV series, you can watch a movie in generally 2 hours or less most of the time. 2 hours is, you know, to get your complete fix of something is different than if you play 2 hours of The Witcher gets you what? Get you through a tutorial and one mission, you know what I mean? So like you ain't going to experience anything in the game by playing 2 hours. Like every game is different. You play 2 hours of Gears of War, you're literally probably 3 levels in, right? But for other games like Spiderman, for example, you can play 2 hours of that, and depending on where you're getting sidetracked with, like 2 hours is going to be different. But the bottom line is, very few video games, unless they're indies or old like 2D platformers, can you actually complete, finish, and experience the entire thing in a short dosage. That's the difference. That's the difference between music, movies, and games that people don't correlate.
Like I say, I think the Game Pass is and you're right. You are right. It's just that I think Game Pass is a tremendous value. I just think that, you know, when I turn around and look at the past year that I've had Game Pass, I've had not the Ultimate. I had Game Pass for the past year, and there was definitely amazing titles in there. But I can tell you right now, I downloaded. I didn't use it at all. I didn't. I was playing there's been so many new games, and we all say it. So people are like, oh, Mooch, I don't believe you. We've been all playing new games that come out every month or every 2 months. And, you know, people are like, my backlog's going crazy. So if your backlog's out of control, right? It's out of control. Like, where are you finding the time to play the other 199 games you're paying for? It's one of those situations where, but you know, people say, well, Mooch, you know, for $10 a month or, you know, for that $1, how can I really let go of 200 games I'm never going to use? I like staring at them. Okay, well, then that's fine. That's fine. But I mean, we're all playing these new games. People are like, I love Game Pass, but I can't wait to play Bloodstained and Judgment. I'm like, what? What? Okay. So I guess you're going to squeak in a quick, you know, Vermintide 2 game in there. It is what it is. Like I said, it's definitely worth it for the first party. That's why they did that. They had to put that in there. And I throw one more question out to the chat, a rhetorical question, and to you guys on the panel is, you know, once EA, which is already doing it, Ubisoft, Square Enix, which is they've already been talking about it, it's in the news. Once all of them start doing their own streaming service, and they say, listen, we're not going to be putting our games in the Game Pass because we have our own streaming service. Well, then Microsoft's Game Pass becomes first party and indies. And once that starts to happen, then you're probably going to question yourself. You say, well, I like playing a lot of Square Enix games, or I like all EA. Right. So I already give my $10 there, my $10 over there. I'll just buy Halo when it comes out. Or I'll just buy Forza when it comes out.
You already know which first party, which exclusive that you're going to want.
Exactly.
Something day one, Gears day one.
It's
Halo,
just new right now, right? So everything's in that one, and it's in that one category of Game Pass. But eventually, when Square and EA and Ubisoft, right? When they're all doing it, like when they're all doing it, then Game Pass is going to have this plethora of games, and you know that Bethesda's going to have one. Everyone's going to do one. Why wouldn't they want to get in on it?
I'm sure there'll be the people doing all of them, and then there'll be like the super ultimate like combo pass. You know, you can get all of them for like, I don't know.
Well, you know, Crispy Bomb in the chat, he says, "Who says they won't do both?" Yeah, Crispy. Everyone right now is like, "I'll do all of them." Yeah, that's what we all right. That's what we all said with cable. Then everyone's like, "I'm cutting cable and just getting Netflix." And then what do you have? You have Netflix, and you have Hulu, and you have all these Spotify, and you're paying for Pandora payment. Pretty soon you look at your bill and you're like, "Holy shit, I'm paying more than when I just had cable." You know, I might as well. So what I'm saying is you could say you'll have all of them, and I'm not saying I don't believe you, but I think there'll be a time where you kind of sit down and reconcile with all your bills, and you'll be like, I don't need this one, I don't need that one, and I certainly don't need this one. And that's what happens. So I think right now Game Pass, again, tremendous value, has everything in there. But once you look at some of those third-party games that you're loving and adoring, once those companies have their own streaming, you know, not streaming service, I shouldn't say streaming, but their own Game Pass version, you're going to turn around and say, oh, okay, maybe I only need, and maybe you keep Xbox Game Pass and you get rid of the other two, or maybe you go for the other two and you get rid of Game Pass. But that's going to happen. They're all going to have this.
Boom, boom, kaboom, BC McNasty, Crispy Bomb in the room. Let's get down to our final topic and then our question of the night, man. This has been a great show. The time is just flying. So our last topic is going. It's kind of interesting. We always know Games of Gold comes out every month. This one's a little bit, hit and miss as far as a lot of Xbox fans apparently are concerned, but I don't want to get into too much of the Games of Gold. I did want to talk about PlayStation Plus, their games of the month, free ones, because they were just announced a few days ago, but there has been an interesting development. Originally, we were going to get PES Soccer 2019, I do believe it was, and Horizon Chase Turbo was sort of an indie race car action game sort of thing. But it looks like now they're going to give subscribers Detroit Become Human, the digital deluxe edition. That game is pretty new. It had lots of high acclaim this past year. Lots of people raving about it. It's a big game. It's a great game from what I've been hearing. So what do you guys think about that last minute change? That's kind of surprising. Why do you think they even did that? What do you think of that game being an addition? It definitely made PlayStation Plus a worthwhile month for sure for July. Give us your take on that. I'm definitely, I've never checked out Detroit Become Human, but let me tell you, and that it's going to be free with PlayStation Plus. I'm damn well going to give it at least a roll around.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you. I played through Detroit. I think Detroit's great. I will definitely be downloading that. I believe I think you have to wait for the 4th of every month for some reason with Sony, unless they change that.
Yeah,
I always just
a couple
go on the
days,
4th. Yeah, so I'll be definitely, because I don't have the deluxe edition. I had the regular edition. I'm more than happy to grab that, and I'll probably add to the library that race car game, but I will not ever play it.
No, me either.
I'm not a car. I don't care if it's the Sony games or the Xbox games. I enjoy. I tip my cap to Playground Games and Turn 10 Studios. They're absolutely both the most talented. But it's just I'm not a race car driving fan in video games. It's just not my bag. But I mean, this kind of spoke a lot of truth and it spoke volumes to people today. I think even some of the Xbox guys, because we've been saying for a long time, hey guys, can you make games with gold something worthy, something to actually go over and click on? It's we got For Honor, that was a great one. We got NHL 19, that was a great pickup. But then it's been kind of sparse in between. I think this month isn't bad. I've owned Inside since the day it came out. But Inside's a great game, right?
But the
It's a
kick
very
out
interesting game.
PES Soccer 2019. I mean, that's a pretty popular game. It's certainly well renowned on the other side of the pond. I mean, it's a world.
It is in Europe,
kind of a world favorite game.
Probably even in Canada.
Just kind of they kicked that one out and put Detroit in. It was just kind of weird. Like, how do you come?
I don't think it's weird.
I think it's actually a smart move because I think that Detroit there's a bigger audience over soccer. There's not too many people who like
in the US
we don't. FIFA,
but this is the first time that either service has done this, because I don't recall games at Gold or PlayStation Plus ever switching a game sort of after they announced it.
No, not really. But I think once again I think Sony was kind of smart on this part. It's also like I'm pretty excited about it because these are some of my favorite kinds of games. I think you called them walking simulators back in the day, Noof. I'm pretty sure it was you, but
they are walking simulators for the most part. They tell a good story.
To me, it's like reading a book, and it's an interactive book to me.
Absolutely.
But as far I don't ever recall Microsoft ever swapping anything, but I also am extremely, like, this is kind of off topic, but I am extremely disappointed in some of the sales and specials and the deals with gold and even the games with gold with Microsoft lately, because I feel like their focus has been on Game Pass. Have you guys noticed that the game quality has kind of gone downhill a little bit?
Yeah,
totally.
It has. I mean, the entire generation's been a bit of a kind of a hiccup. But I mean, yeah.
Every time games at Gold, the announcement comes out, they miss the games, and everybody's kind of like, right? And then like 2 or 3 days later, they announce the ones in Game Pass, and they're like, holy shit!
Yeah, like tomorrow's Game Pass announcement, and I bet you that let's say there's 3. Just I'm making that up. If there's 3, 2 out of 3 are going to be pretty good. And yeah, those were the ones that we used to get in games with Gold. You'd at least get one of those, and it was riveting. It was exciting, and it was like, this is great. I get this for literally, like, it felt like nothing, even though it was not for nothing. But I mean, this month, I'll be fair. I will be fair. Now the fact that they added Detroit, it changes the opinion from before when it was PES soccer.
Mhm.
Now I tip my cap more towards Sony because I think Detroit's a fantastic game. I think anybody that tries it will really love it. But I gotta say, the games with gold game, Inside is a good game, and Symphony of the Night is a good game. So they're giving you 2 out of 4. That was what Meatloaf was gonna sing about, but he changed it to 3. I think 2 out of 4 ain't bad. And I've said this since day one. Xbox, do us all a favor. Cut if you have to save money or do something in a certain essence to make business sense, take it from 4 to 2, make it 2 exquisite games, forget exquisite, 2 good games, and leave out the whatever that one is that nobody will ever talk about after this podcast. Like something like Meeting the Hendersons or whatever that one is there. Like, nobody knows, right? The Robin, Meet the Robin.
Yeah, meet the Robins.
Like, what are we doing?
That wasn't even a good Disney movie, let alone a great game, right?
Right. It's like Mooch and Crap Take Manhattan. Nobody wants that game. I don't know why. Why would you put Meet the Robinsons in there? It's kind of just like just make it 2 games, make it worthwhile.
It's because they ran out of fucking Assassin's Creed. Who here does not have every single Assassin's?
Yeah, everybody has every single one now.
Mooch, at this point, I'll take the Burger Kings with games of gold. You know what I mean? The Burger King games.
Yeah,
better,
I mean,
oh my god, shit we've had. Give me Sneak King.
Come on, baby. Who doesn't want some Sneak King?
Oh my god,
burgers into your house.
Yeah. If they made that backwards compatible, which I am a little disappointed that that's over for right now, but if they made that backwards compatible, I would be all over it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we're going to get down to the question. We're at the 2-hour mark. Let's close it out with Primal's question. That was a great topic, though. Great game. So if you have PlayStation Plus, you're in for a real treat. You can pick up Detroit Become Human for absolutely $0. So that's pretty cool. So go ahead, Primal. Nail out your final question of the night before we head out.
All right. In honor of Mooch being our special guest tonight, if you could mooch anything, and I mean anything, there's no bars, no holding back, anything, what would you mooch?
I would probably mooch one of the largest hotels in Las Vegas. I would probably think I would love to own like the Wynn or any of them. I don't care. I don't know. Primal asked me this question. I got to be honest with you. It's the hardest thing in the world to answer.
It is.
I mean, there's always, like I would mooch world peace.
Right.
I can definitely say that right. Or stop world hunger. I'll mooch that. But I just to have fun, I would say absolutely just grab one of the largest, most amazing like casinos, the Bellagio out there, and just like have the craziest parties and have like so much fun. Like you could have a gaming room that would be just like, I don't even know, like to the nth degree, right? Like, I just think that like Vegas is a lot of fun. It's definitely wild. It's crazy. When they say New York's the city that doesn't sleep. And listen, you guys know I love New York. Wrong. It's Vegas. Like Vegas, you go out to Vegas and like somebody after 3 days, somebody asks you what day it is, and you're like, hand me a calendar. I'm not really sure. Because you just don't sleep. It's like everything is going on. The same thing that's going on at 8 in the morning. It's the same that's going on at 11 at night. So it's a fun city. I was like, I'll mooch the Bellagio or the Wynn and just throw the craziest parties for gamers. Have every function out there. You know what?
That'd be so fucking awesome.
There and get it going right. Throw a real party like they used to throw parties at E3. Now they can't because it's not acceptable. Stop that fun over there. Are you smiling? We don't do that. Stop smiling. Put that smile away. So yeah, I don't know if that's a great answer or not, Primal, but that's what I came up with.
Yeah, no, it could be whatever you want. And you know what? I ask these questions every week, and I never think of my own answer. I realize that now, like it's finally hit me. Like I never think of my own answer. So go ahead.
She comes up with the question early in the day, and then she's not prepared to answer when she gets.
Well,
there.
I know because I'm thinking about it. Like at work, I'm like, okay, what can I do? What can I do? And like I'll message you on my break or something, or on my way home, and then it's gone.
I gotta be honest with you. It's literally. I mean, it's shout out to the guys in the chat, Crispy Bomb and. Timothy Dixon and Spiderman, they said all the things that like definitely go through everyone's house. Like, Crispy Bomb goes, mooch the deed to my house. I would mooch the last 10 years back. That's pretty cool.
Oh my gosh.
Him,
yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Spider-Man, of course, goes right for the cash money.
For the money. Yeah,
$10
no,
billion.
I would love to mooch some money. I honestly, if I was taking this seriously, I would love to mooch a house. I need a fucking house. I need a home to go into.
Fact.
I would also like to mooch a copy of Bloodstained Ritual of the Night.
Oh, I've never heard that before.
No, well, if
awesome.
you'd like any more details, my name is Primal Eve. I am on Xbox Live. It's 2 words, and my DMs are open.
Awesome.
just letting you know.
You know what's just a real quick spoiler for Spider-Man. If he was ever able to mooch $10 billion, Spider-Man, you'd have no idea. I'd be mooching $1 billion off of you. So, right, just like the end of Mr. Deeds. He's like, Deeds, 1 billion, and he's like, yeah, all right, that's cool. No shit, that's cool. So Spider-Man, I hope you get your 10 billion, and I hope you remember the mooch.
Money. That's so much money. Well, what would you do with that money?
Pretty much anything you want. To be honest with you, there's
cocaine and hookers.
You throw that on like an 85-story home. Yeah, do whatever you want. Where helicopters brought you everywhere. I don't know. Yeah, there's nothing you really can't do. To be honest with you, Primal.
Yeah.
A lot of copies of Bloodstained. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Well, if I had to mooch
on every system that I'll have in every room.
If I had to mooch a material item, I'd probably say, look, probably a house, because it's probably the most important purchase you're going to make in your life. And if you could have that and have that out of the way, then the rest of your life is going to be a hell of a lot easier, right? So I'll go with that one. That's the easy one. And the other thing is maybe a little head and shoulders. No, not because I got a bad dandruff problem, but I could have do with the wife rubbing my shoulders and give me a little bit more head. So it's all good.
No.
So you just pretty much want to mooch your wife's mouth is what we.
Hey, can I borrow that glory hole from you for a second? There you go. Make yourself useful, baby. Stop talking and. And Mooch is silent now.
Are you rethinking your mooch?
Oh, absolutely not. No, I'm keeping that. I want to have the largest casino on the strip in Vegas. I'll take that.
Awesome. Oh man. Well, this has been a phenomenal show. Once again, a huge shout out and thanks to everybody in the chat. You guys have been phenomenal. First time, I think, since we've done this show, 20 episodes in, we finally got over 50 mark tonight. So pretty happy with the turnout. You guys have been awesome. Every one of you have been here tonight, keeping it respectful, keeping it lively, keeping it fun. And a big shout out, obviously, to our guests. Took us 20 episodes to get him in here, but it was worth the while. He's always entertaining. He's well-spoken, articulated, and he's just an awesome dude. So I'm going to give it up once again for our guest tonight, the Mooch. Mooch, how can people track you down, brother? I know you got a lot of stuff on the go this week, and I hope you have a phenomenal July 4th.
I appreciate that, Noof. Thanks for having me on, Primal. Thanks for having me on. It's a great show. Love how you guys have a different dynamic. It really is. It's, I do a lot. I've done a lot of podcasts. I podcast 3 times a week. I got to be honest with you. Your show is unique, and I like it. You guys have outstanding chemistry. So, keep this going and keep it alive. I'll promote the hell out of it. I know that's for damn sure. That being said, outstanding chat. You got a great group of people that show up here every week, too. You guys are all awesome. And, to find me, I'll be honest with you, I've got some time. I took some time off for the 4th of July holiday. I'm planning on doing a good amount of streaming. So if you guys don't mind, everybody that's listening now and listening later, the Mooch 78, twitch.tv/the Mooch 78, same as YouTube. I really would appreciate you guys going over and hitting this. I got to say this because, Crap always says, Mooch, you got to tell people. And I'm like, well, I would think they would know, but maybe I should tell them. Go over and follow me on Twitch, and definitely hit the subscribe button on YouTube. We've got a lot of great stuff coming up with MNC Show. We've got a lot of stuff. Crossfire is going to be this Friday. I've got some guests lined up. It's going to be a blast. There's a lot of hot topics, and you can always follow me at Mooch1978 on Twitter. So just follow me, guys. I'm everywhere, and I'm always on Xbox, Mooch on Xbox, and the Mooch78 on PSN. So check it out. Thank you guys again.
Thanks for being here, Mooch. And over to my co-host, the lovely and incredible Primal Eve, baby. Where can people catch you? I know they want to get a little bit more primal in the evening. So go ahead, baby. Let people know how they can catch up with you.
Not through the blinds of my window. All right, you guys can catch me on Twitter every once in a while. I have been pretty busy with work and home life, but I'm on there here and there. I am at Primal Eve. I am also on the PSN and Xbox Live, also Primal Eve. I actually had to blow the dust off of my PS4 controller today. Um, it was a little sad, and I apologize for anybody who has sent me messages or friend requests from like back in May, even before then. I apologize for the late responses, but if you'd like, you can also send me a copy of Bloodstained Ritual of the Night on Xbox. So yeah, that's my final like begging mooch right there.
Great.
And speaking of mooching, thank you, Mooch, for joining us. It was really a pleasure to have you here, and it's nice to have you guys kind of like in a different light whenever we have a special guest on here. We're definitely a lot more lax than other podcasts, and we kind of just let it go. So, 20 fucking episodes. Holy shit, Noof. All
Over
right.
4 months.
And yeah, a huge thank you to the chat as well and everybody for tuning in.
There you go. Time flies when you're having fun, and we always have fun. You guys are fantastic. I said you make this show. Terrence Tate, thanks for the love, brother. Timothy Dixon, everybody that came out here, Crispy Bomb, Jago Kuka, and Salty Gaming. The list goes on. You guys are fantastic. Spider-Man 356. Like I said, too many to mention. I try to give everybody a shout out that comes out here because, like I said, I do appreciate it. Whether you're here for 1 minute or you're here for 10, we appreciate you coming out because obviously without you guys, this is kind of pointless. But we're having fun. We're looking forward to the next 20, and we're looking to have Mooch back again in the future. We just got to see how the schedule works out, but we will definitely try to get this man back on soon if we haven't scared him off with all our innuendo.
No,
But
you're all good, buddy.
That's right. It's after dark now. The PG stuff goes away after 8. There you go. But anyway, to all my American brothers and sisters south of the border, you guys have yourself a phenomenal July 4th. Spend it right. Get some rest, get some gaming in. Do whatever it is you do that makes you happy, but just spend it the right way. And we'll see you definitely in the next couple of days online or elsewhere. So check out these guys, subscribe to the channels, and we will definitely see you again, hopefully, next Tuesday. Have a great night, everybody.
Good night,
Peace.